And welcome back to the Cauldron of Battle here at Lock and Load GameFest 2018.
An ongoing cauldron.
That's right. It's
of
bubbling
battle.
and boiling with battle.
Yes, it's been an exciting day so far, I understand, although I missed a good chunk of it.
I mean, I've missed all of it so far because I'm not Will Pagani. I'm Will Schick.
It's Will Schick. We've swapped out the Wills.
We're almost interchangeable except for the fact that we don't share memories like
That's
a hive
sad.
mind.
We need to work that out.
I really could use some notes. I'm going to lean on you.
Yeah, sure. Well, like I said, I missed out on a chunk of it, but just for a quick overview for people who are joining us now who hadn't been there before, this is a multi-table event. It's geared around these giant water towers, well, crucible towers.
Chemical towers?
These chemical towers that the Golden Crucible set up in a variety of odd places. We were joking earlier about we're not quite sure how they managed to convince the various places where they've set up these towers to allow it. Like this one's, we've got one kind of out in the swamp here.
I mean, this one's right by an Authentic wagon.
The abandoned Authentic wagon was parked here.
Abandoned?
Yeah, well, the guy that lives in the shack down here,
I see. He
was told to
Gotcha.
keep a watch on it. You know, like park it somewhere safe. And meanwhile, Golden Crucible guys came in, set up a tower. We've got another one in like an Iosan forest, I guess.
This makes perfect sense
Sure.
to me. Like in the Iron Kingdoms, not only do you randomly find Dragon Authentic wagons for just lying around,
Right.
but also, you know.
Sometimes you're in Ios and a Golden Crucible guy comes by.
Wait a minute. There's one of these in Ios?
Well, it's on the fringes. It's like it's in the area maybe that the Scorn pushed the Iosans out of.
All right.
And
I don't think it becomes any more realistic when you're like, but it's not Ios
it's on
anymore.
the
It's
edges.
Scorn.
It's closer to Lael, really.
I want to meet the Crucible Guard salesman who came in and was like, look, I got a deal for you.
He's like, look, I'm going to water all your plants, all your trees. I got all the kind of good,
and this one's in the middle of a circle ley line nexus.
Yes, right on a major site of Circle Ouroboros worship.
They're totally fine with that, right?
He told him, he's like, I don't think this is going to interfere with the ley lines at all.
Yeah, you're good.
Like, we're just keeping this on the surface. We're going to be coming in and out. We're going to put some weird chemicals in there. But as long as you don't touch these valves,
stay away from the valves. It'll be fine.
We've got 4 different places on the battlefield where there's some valves. Just stay away from those.
I swear this thing won't leak.
So, this table that we're looking at right now,
this is the Ios
table, which is our sort of our main table that our camera's set up on. So we'll probably be here most of the time. And on this table, you can see we've got 4 teams. On every table, we have 1 member of each team.
Okay.
So we have the Defenders, we have the Liberators, Opportunists, and Wildcards.
Okay.
The Defenders, even though that sounds like those should be the good guys, they're not.
They're not the good guys.
They are trying to keep the status quo of maybe Khador owns these towers now because they used to belong to the Order of the Golden Crucible.
No?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Because they booted all the Golden Crucible guys out.
I see.
So
I'm
now,
so confused.
Well, okay, so just imagine it like this. Golden Crucible sets up some towers in various places.
Right.
Then they have the deeds.
I feel like the Golden Crucible guy's the monorail guy from The Simpsons who just came in and is like, you got some money, right?
Right.
You need a water tower.
So he's got his deeds that he wrote of where the towers are. Those were in the Thunderhead Fortress.
Okay.
So Khador comes in.
Acquired them.
They took the deeds. Now they own the weird water towers that are everywhere. So now the Liberators were hired by the Order of the Golden Crucible, who are not actually here.
Okay, no. Why would they bother with this? They have other things to do.
Nor are there any actual Khadorans here.
Right.
The Khadorans
so we have another narrative event
defenders.
at the train.
They probably
table.
don't even know they own these
Not
things.
involving the train though this time. So since Hungerford had us introduce people, and I forgot to earlier, what's your name?
Anthony Martinez.
Okay, Anthony. And you want to do something crazy with the objectives.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's your plan?
So my poor dying goblin tinker is going to crawl inside there, crank those things all the way up to 11, and then shoot the controls and see what happens.
Okay. So the 4 results that you can get from these objectives is everyone nearby draws a card, everyone might freeze, a spray of acid comes out, or everyone gets pushed away and damage might happen to them. So we're going to say that when you do that, it's going to trigger all 4 of them to do the same thing.
Oh. Got some multi-table
action
happening.
So
I think it's just on that table.
A 1 or 2 will be everybody.
It should be on every table.
I think that's what he was saying.
3 or a 4, or a 3 will be acid. A 4 or 3 will be ice. Sorry. A 4 or 5 will be an acid spray, and a 6 will be explosion.
But maybe you're right. Maybe it's
okay. And this is going to kill the Gobber Tinker.
No,
Gobber
Tinker.
You're right. This is his narrative event on this table.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a crazy thing. Okay, so roll the die. You got a 5, so acid sprays. And the way this is normally resolved, and we're going to do it this way, is the player in the opposite deployment from that one makes a spray attack with it. So each of you guys gets to make a spray attack with the objective on the opposite side of the table from your corner. Okay? And that was another narrative token in our company
So
environment.
acid is spraying out all over the place because some gobber tinker went up, hit it with his hammer, or hit him with a wrench.
I mean, he did a lot of cranking. I heard the cranking happened. The crankage. There's cranks.
Well, I mean that makes sense because one of the things that's discussed with these games. Let's see. I don't know if we're being.
I don't think so.
Is
Tony? Is he on right now? No. Yeah, no. We can hear him. They can't. You're confusing everyone, Doug. Sometimes Oz talks and the world can hear him.
Sometimes
only
we hear him.
Right.
He's
he
a
talks,
little voice in our
and
head.
only we hear him.
Yes.
And it's hard to tell which is which.
Yes. But anyway, the one of the ideas in general is that as the players interact with their objectives, it creates pressure in the tower. So there's like these pressure tokens that build up. And then occasionally some of this weird alchemical goo or whatever gas that's in these towers will come out and affect everybody nearby. So it makes sense to me that the Gobber Tinkerer might have thought he was like going to release some of that pressure, crank it down a little bit. But instead, he's going to get acid all over the place.
Well, I mean, acid everywhere. To be fair, I wouldn't trust a Goblin Tinkerer with my fancy water tower.
Hey, look, it's a little dog.
Yes, it's Sir Barks-a-Lot.
Sir Barks.
Sir Barks-a-Lot.
Coming up on a Tharn. So here, on the retribution table, we can see some conflict happening near the tower. The way that points are earned relates to, I don't remember the exact rules, but it relates to getting people close to the tower. So we're going to be probably seeing as the game moves on more and more people cramping around the tower in harm's way.
All right,
And
so did
so
the
we've
dog
got
successfully bite?
I'm not sure, but these Tharn are clearly dealing with a very loyal warhound.
A little Barks-a-Lot. Like he's committed. He's been in the Corps since he was a wee pup.
His kind were removed from the Devourer Worm long ago when mankind
Yeah.
first tamed.
Right,
the
when
hound.
they made him cute and cuddly.
Yes.
They're like, you have all these great traits for killing, but we want you to be cute.
And you can carry these things in these little saddlebags.
Well, come on. Who doesn't want to put saddlebags on their dog?
Yeah, exactly.
So wait, we talked about the defenders. They want to make sure that Kador keeps the water
they're
towers.
keeping the status quo, which I believe is the circle player on this table.
Okay, so the circle player is totally cool with this being an Ios.
Yeah, I guess. Well, they mainly just don't want the other people to get it.
Okay. And the
so
liberators.
The liberators, those are the ones that are wanting to return it to the Order of the Golden Crucible.
And
so
that's
the Order of the Golden Crucible wants its stuff back. And so they hired a bunch of people.
Right.
And I think on this table,
Signar, right?
it's
Is that what you
Signar.
said?
Yes.
So
So some Signar and allies are here,
Okay.
including the dog.
Right. So Sir Barks-a-Lot has led a strike
Yes,
force
he is a liberator.
to liberate the water tower
Yes.
filled with a chemical goo.
Yeah, just in case, because they might need it to.
If
to
he gets
hurt
sprayed
some
with the alchemical
Khadorans.
goo, will Sir Barks-a-Lot gain sentience?
Oh, maybe that could
Like
that could be
super
that could be a
intelligence?
narrative event. I would use my narrative event on the dog if I was playing.
To make the dog super smart?
Make it super cool.
You realize that would
Or-
have no game effect.
Well, no, you come up with a good game
I see.
excuse for
Okay.
it. Like he could pull some kind of cool parkour maneuver once he's got some added skills. But yeah, so the
Like
opportunists.
Airbud?
The opportunists are just there kind of for their own benefit.
Okay.
They're getting the tower probably for themselves.
And that's the Crix player on this
on
table?
the retribution table. It's
All right, 'cause we're on the circle
we're
table
looking
now.
over to circle table. The wild cards, just to finish off the groups, the wild cards are there for their own inscrutable reasons. And-
Grimkin?
yeah, the Grimkin
Okay.
on our table. But I do think
Oh.
on one of the other tables, the Grimkins might be a liberator.
They're liberating?
I'm not sure.
Somehow the Order of the Golden Crucible was like, hey,
I'm not sure. Yeah,
crazy ghost demon things.
Help
We've got
us
a
out.
deal for you.
yeah. And there, I was thinking probably it's because they want some of that. We know that one of the gases that these things has like mind control.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Tony mentions that we should be calling the dogs
Barkcore?
parkour.
Good
and not
job.
Parkour.
Barkcore.
When it's a dog doing it, it is parkour.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm thinking that the crazy madness gas that the Grimkin want that, and then the Dreamer could use some of these things to like make more people fall into an everlasting slumber.
Sure. So just make people sleep forever.
Yeah.
Got it. I like it.
But it looks like the defenders are doing quite well. So it looks like the status quo is being upheld so far.
So are the points now bring me up to speed? Are the
That's
points across all the
tables? Yes.
And how does one score a point?
That is a very good question that I don't know the answer to. I think it has to do with proximity to the tower, but I don't know how many. I don't know how the control works because I don't necessarily know rules. That's your that's your
just
arena,
tell me,
sir.
So give me a story
Yes.
about why you would score a point, and we'll just assume that's correct.
But I know it has to do with proximity to the tower.
To the tower, not to the objectives.
Yeah, and it might be who has the most number of figures around the tower, or maybe if you prevent other teams from having somebody around the tower.
Okay.
Because we'll be seeing that there's more and more people pushing in on the center of the tower.
I see.
And then the other mechanism that I know happens in the game is the control points will allow you to get more cards, Company of Iron cards.
Gotcha.
So you kind of want to probably have some people on your objective marker,
right?
And then other people moving in on the tower.
You get those sweet command cards.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're joining us in Twitch right now, feel free to say hi or ask questions. We are monitoring the chat.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're
here's the abandoned Authenk tower out in the swamp.
That's not an Authenk. This is an Authenk wagon.
The Authenk wagon.
Tower.
Sorry, it's Authenk wagon.
I mean, it's got a tower on it, but it's a wagon.
I have to think this has been modified since the one that Terminus was using.
You think?
Yeah, it does. This one looks a little stripped down. This is kind of the junker version.
I mean, it's right there. Look, it's been in disrepair for a little while.
But I mean, I don't think when Crix was running it that it was just some horses up front. Like
no?
there were Helljacks pulling that thing along.
But you have to remember, like Crix didn't have it for a while. Like Signar took it.
Yeah, but then they put it on a boat.
They did put it on a boat, but they had to get it to the boat.
Well, true.
So
this might represent the brief haul the thing to the boat. Period.
Those look like Morrow and horses to me. They look like they belong to the church.
I don't know that. I was going to guess they're some. Yeah, they might have been just some draft horses, like some beer horses.
Beer horses turn to the good works of Holland Dragon Shards.
But the truth is, there is a lot of brewing in the Morrowind Church also.
So it's a church of drunkards?
Well, there is an ascendant specifically for wine, grain.
Just because there's an ascendant
beer
doesn't mean that everyone in the church needs to run around drunk.
The ascendant Gordon, who is the patron of farmers and beer, as far as I'm concerned.
Those two
you
things
can't
kind of
have
go hand
beer
in hand.
without farming.
That's true. They do seem to line up.
So here we have.
We had some dice being rolled.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on here.
I
know that there's a.
It looks like we're at the start of a new round here because they're passing out new command cards.
And we'll have to make sure that we have all the points. I know that sometimes there's a little bit of a delay between
the points and such
put in. And Oz is definitely losing his voice rapidly.
I mean, right now they're talking about explosions.
Okay.
Oh, we're back. We're back to the circle table. So the train has been confirmed to be working.
Yeah, apparently there was
Frank the Tank 539. Will you get a PDF or something to run the scenario? I'm sure we could probably make that happen.
Yeah, I bet.
If you have 16 friends and 4 tables,
I imagine
a desire to go crazy,
the single table version of it wouldn't be too hard to pull off. You get one player on each corner. Doing the multi-table would definitely be a bit of a difficult chore.
That's an event that you can organize in your store.
Yeah, in your
no
game
problem.
store. Yeah, and you basically just scale it up by 4 people. More fours you got.
I see Troublesome Dallas over there digging through stuff.
So you think he's going to just paint some stuff on the fly and throw it on the table?
I don't think so. It looks like he's searching for something.
Okay.
Oh, he's looking for the Iron Painter stuffs. Iron Painter will be our next stream tonight at the close of this one around at
is that
7 Pacific.
Nice.
7 p.m. Pacific time. You can watch the craziness of Iron Painter, see Dallas Kemp and our other P3 studio folks, myself included, do our annual Iron Painter event. Answer some questions, win some prizes. It's always a good time.
Oh, I think something is happening here around
I see some tokens going away.
I think we're having some alchemical stuff coming out of the tower.
All right, let's see what happens here.
We'll have to listen in on Oz a little bit and see if we can figure out what's going down.
All right. Every player has to choose one model within 12 inches of the tower. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
So basically, we just had some
Steroids.
Hulk serum,
Hulk serum.
go everywhere.
Yeah.
And now Sir Barks-a-Lot.
I hope it's the dog.
Super powered.
It needs to be the dog.
He-
He's right
he-
there. He's right on the tower.
I know he's got to be the closest.
So they're going to get supercharged with boosted everything. Is that what he said?
Yeah, it just boosted everything, and if they wind up getting incapacitated, they explode.
They explode
because it's a little volatile. I
think-
want to know, like,
I think Sir Barks-a-Lot can live through it, though. I think he's going to make it.
He's got this. he's going to go canine crazy.
All right, let's see how this goes.
I want to know who lives in this terrifying water tower of chemical spirits.
What I was thinking is maybe the Crucible guys set it up to where like there's a small water reservoir.
Uh-huh.
So like there's like a little drinking fountain at the bottom.
Oh.
So it seems like it's just got
Right.
normal water in
Just
there.
water?
You don't know it has all this crazy alchemical
Uh-huh.
stuff until the armies show up, start murdering each
Start
other.
fighting each other for
Yeah.
it?
So now the innocuous water tower becomes a tower of death.
A tower of death. Ooh. This is intense.
I want to see these guys get all juiced up.
Well, I think right now they're choosing people to be juiced up, maybe. Oh. So it sounds like we have another narrative token happening
Okay.
here. Here we go.
All right. So we have another narrative event about to happen.
All right.
First off, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, Patrick Nelson.
So Patrick's playing the Troll Bloods on the train yard, and he saw what a good idea it was for the Gremlins to jump inside and fling it in reverse. So you're going to have your bear handler.
The bear handler is going to hop in. All
into the
these
train.
guys went onto the tracks. Apparently didn't see the crossing guards come down, so backing on over them.
Okay. Now the Gremlins, they have technological know-how. They know what they're doing. So what we're going to do is you're going to be able to back it up 3d6 inches like before. It's going to have the same effect. And if it crashes into this, it's going to be very bad. However, there's a small chance the bear handler goes the wrong way. Now, he doesn't have to die like the Gremlin Swarm did. You'll be able to have him jump back out afterwards. So roll me a d6, and on a 1, you're going to go forwards instead of backwards.
Okay. Let's see.
All right, you're going backwards. Roll me 3d6, and let's see how far you go.
So the train backing up.
Ooh, 14 inches.
Nice.
Okay.
That is
This,
one
this train
fast
table's been pretty
reverse.
exciting. So again, they built a water tower right next to this train
For
track.
this jack.
Well, that just makes sense. The water, like the
Is
water
that your
tower,
jack?
literally has a spigot
That's true.
That's
to
yours?
pour water into the steam engine.
That was probably the easiest one to get set
Probably.
up.
I mean, that one just
Now, here's
seems
the problem.
legit.
You're not just being smushed. You're not being slammed by the train. You're being smushed by the train. So you got to
Smushed.
try and get out of the way, or you're going to get crushed completely. We'll give you a 50-50 chance to jump out of the way. Roll a d6. On a 4 or
pretty
better,
generous.
you're fine. On a 1 through 3,
It's a reversing train. I mean, you should be able to see it coming.
I
It's
guess.
probably also whistling.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
jumps
true.
out of the way. Now roll for Rutger. Same thing. 50-50 chance he's just dead.
Rutger.
Did he jump out of the way? Yeah. All right, one more for Taryn.
Oh, no, not Taryn.
Luck's got to run out eventually.
Wow. So all of your characters
Well,
managed
so all
to
the
jump out of
heroes
the way,
get
but
out of
now
the
I
way.
have some bad news.
That's what happens with Rutger and Taryn, though. They're
mean,
quite lucky.
Train smashes back into the caboose, which we're going to turn on their sides here in a second. Everybody within 6 inches of the train track from where the front of the train is back is going to take a POW 12 damage roll and be set on fire as the whole thing explodes.
Oh, the caboose exploded.
Oh my! This was quite the bear handler's forte here.
Well, apparently earlier the Grimkin Swarm took this thing over, and I think the engine was like 18 inches away from the caboose. And so only a maximum roll would result in the caboose explosion.
Uh-huh.
But now it was closer.
Right. So there you go.
Move the engine twice.
Caboose.
The caboose goes kaboom.
Kaboom! Oh, and there goes our sweet caboose.
Yeah, that table was pretty cool. I
Oh,
guess
and we can
now
see
maybe
some
it doesn't
pizza
have
there.
a train. So now it's just a train track table.
Trains. No, isn't the locomotive's still on there,
Is
right?
it?
Just
Oh,
the
I
caboose
guess.
blew up.
All right.
I'm sure the locomotive could
It's probably
survive
just-
a high
Yeah,
explosion.
it's probably just slightly
Those
on
things
fire.
are built better than tanks.
Yeah, a little bit on fire. Never.
It'll be,
hurt
it
a
just
train.
makes it go faster. It's just warmer now. That's how steam power works.
But each of these tables has some kind of interesting, stuff on them, which in theory they could make use of for the narrative plot points.
Like the
that they
Swamp
have.
Shack and the. I'm
Yeah.
surprised nobody's hopped in the Authentic
Well, I
wagon and
guess
started driving it.
What I heard is there was an attempt to sacrifice somebody to empower the Authentic.
Oh.
And there was a pulse of energy that knocked some people down and did some damage. But nobody's really like. I feel like somebody should try to get that Authentic out of there. I mean, you want to do something dramatic.
That doesn't sound terrible at all.
You got to do something cool. I expect we'll see some more out of that Authentic wagon though as time goes on. But on the Iosin board, I'm not quite sure what people want to do. I'm hoping somebody will make use of the statuary or the pillars.
Sure. You got to figure that there's some kind of, hidden god or something.
Well, I mean, and think about it like if that one pillar fell on a couple of those guys. Like if that
Yeah,
pillar
just
on the
get
bottom
pushed
left
over?
got knocked over or something. Yeah. More explosions is good.
I kind of just, if that happens, I want somebody to just knock it over on purpose. Like just break the thing.
Just wreck our terrain.
Yeah. I mean, it's narrative. It's like, all right, you got to flick it with your finger. If you break it, whatever it hits is dead.
Oh, God. Flick it as hard as you can.
And then we'll keep a camera on Danny Samuel's face, our terrain guy.
He loves when you
He's
destroy
watch
terrain.
it. He does. It's called job security, Danny.
If there's stuff to repair, you still have a job.
That's right. I mean, they already had to fix that pillar once, so we know it's unstable.
Yep. But I really want somebody to try to animate that statue over there. Like I think
The fallen down statue?
Yeah, I think like if the Grimkin could
There's
make
no
it-
scoring
the
on
Grimkin
here.
could- but the Grimkin are there. They could make that happen.
I don't think the Grim. I
Oh,
feel like
come
you're.
on now.
I feel like you're stretching on Grimkin
Are you
powers
saying
here.
that the Grimkin have limits to their powers?
I think they do.
Well, we don't actually have one of the Defiers, I guess. But maybe they're just off camera. Maybe
Maybe.
they're just off
Maybe
the edge
just
of the board.
Just controlling things.
The Dreamer's over there taking a nap.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the dreamer like making you believe when you fall asleep
there
that the
we go.
statue came awake.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
You know.
lasting. It could just be like an illusion.
There you go.
But I
A
think we
real
also,
illusion.
I think in the top right of the screen, there's a amidst that burnt out section of the forest. I think there's a downed.
There is, yeah.
Myrmidon over there.
Yeah, I can see the gremlins hopping in that, making it work. You
Sure.
know, all Frankenstein-y. Again, that would require them to rip it out of the piece of terrain that it's in.
Right, and then I guess there's Crixians up there right now.
Oh, gremlin swarms aren't worried about Crixians.
But we're definitely seeing more movement toward the tower. It's hard for me to get a sense of.
The carnage?
Well, yeah, who's worse off here, or how many casualties we've had. It does look like there's less Tharn, but I know there's a bunch of them also right around the tower.
Hmm.
It looks to me like the Tharn have had some casualties.
I mean, it does look like those blood trackers are firmly in control of the tower
Yeah.
because they're all I see. I think Sir Barkslot might have gotten killed. Or he's hiding behind the tree. One of the two. It's hard to say.
And again, I think the Circle Ouroboros in this case thinks that Kador should have this tower. Maybe. I think they're playing defenders.
The circle?
I think.
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I mean, it's possible.
I'm not gonna bet my job on it. But
No? I'm afraid you're going to have to now. It's required. Well, they must, because you said that Signar were the liberators,
Yeah.
Grimkin were the wild cards,
And Crix is the
Crix
opportunist.
is the opportunist. So, I mean,
And my justification for that was just that they don't want either Grimkin or Crix to have it.
that makes sense. It makes sense. They'd rather just stay there.
Yeah, they're like, just hey, leave the chemicals alone. They're worried about probably the ecological disaster of this spill. They're trying to stop it, even though they know they can't.
I'm really kind of concerned about Iosian border security at this point.
Well, me too.
You've got no elves in sight, and yet there's a water tower that was clearly built by not elves.
They pride themselves on not allowing people past their border, but maybe since the Scorn got in,
They've just kind of gone lax on that?
Yeah, border security's gotten a lot
Border
worse.
security's has gone down?
It's gone way down.
Ooh.
Or it's just the strategic thing. They basically decided we don't want that part of the forest anymore.
This part of the forest was nothing but trouble?
They're like, we don't need that little section of the trees. That's just some broken statues there. It's not really important.
I mean, their population continues to decline, so at some point you're just like, we have too much space.
Right.
Let's consolidate. And clearly this place is in disrepair. I mean, it's all broken down and kind of garbagey.
It is looking pretty sad.
Also, you can tell it's not currently occupied by elves because the trees aren't on fire.
They don't always light their trees on fire.
I am
That's
pretty
a
sure that
weapon
they
of-
do.
It's a weapon of last
I
resort.
have yet to see any elf standing in a forest that is not on fire.
They're trying to save their homeland. Admittedly, at the time,
By burning it to the ground?
Been invaded. What you do is you create a firewall.
Oh, I see. But the
Right
fire's always behind them.
Right. Well, so you station your forces out on the perimeter, set the forest on fire
Behind
behind
them?
you.
Right.
And
Like,
that
well,
way,
you could retreat,
if you
boys,
get-
but you can't.
If you get past the elves, you wind up.
You
in
have
the
to run
fire.
into a smoldering wreck of a land.
Yeah. So here we have
All
some undead, undead bog trogs, and I think there's some Gobber River Raiders there.
Yeah. Wait, are those River Raiders? They don't look like River Raiders. Those look like Nis. I think those are Nis.
But I mean, I'm saying like with the guy with the jaunty blue hat.
Oh, yeah, the jaunty blue hat guy? Sure.
I think the undead
Definitely a
bog
River
trogs
Raider.
are hanging out with some River Raiders.
And the Nis are trying to get in there and do some things?
There's a mercenary force off there to the side, and I believe the mercs might also be defenders, but I'm not entirely sure.
So apparently the round has ended,
Okay.
and a Nis has been killed.
Looks like somebody's corroding there. Probably
Somebody is corroding.
This might be that acid spray table. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. The acid spray table I thought was the train
Oh,
table.
was it the train?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least that's...
Well, that table's got a lot going on then.
It does. It's got people driving trains, spraying acid everywhere. It's madness. Oh,
I think there's.
I see an Oz finger on
Yeah.
the table.
I still think there's quite a few narrative tokens left because some people have been holding them.
What do the narrative tokens look like?
I don't know exactly.
Are they big and gaudy?
They should be. It should be like.
Are they Doug Seacat
big old-
Blood of King books? Because I feel like that's what they should have been.
That would have been great.
They should have been Blood of Kings
That would have been a good
novels.
Some good advertising
by Doug
Just-
Seacat.
just everybody's got to carry one of my novels
Yeah.
around.
They slap it down.
I like this idea.
We can make it happen next year.
So the opportunists apparently got a point.
Okay.
I think we might have 3 Crixian armies that are all in the
Woo!
opportunists camp.
Crix has really, they've come together
Yeah,
then.
I really think they're trying to make some kind of new bile. They want to make some super corrosive bile with the chemicals here. Not quite sure what the Menites are doing.
They're defending, apparently.
Well, they
Oz was just saying that because of that flag bearer right
that's
there.
right. Because they
were able to control the zone on their table quite a bit.
I think that's explainable with the notion of we know the Protectorate also has some territory in Lael, and they're probably would rather kind of preserve the status quo. They don't want to see Signar and the
Sure.
Laeli's resistance strengthen too much to boot them out. It's a little weird to have them working alongside Khador, but
Are they really working alongside Khador, or are they
Maybe
just,
not. Keeping other people out.
maybe they think the water tower is theirs,
Yeah, I think that's probably more likely.
They don't care about documentation.
Sure.
What are they going to do, take them to small claims court in the IK? Just be like, this is our water tower.
Or it could be like a rogue Protectorate sect that's been, maybe it's part of the true faith, the old faith.
Yeah. So they're actually Khadorans?
Some Khadoran Menites. I like that.
Sure, I can see it. I can see it.
Deliver unto the creator of man these chemicals. For these chemicals are his tools to
Are
do
they?
with as he wishes.
To be fair, the Protectorate has proven itself pretty much in love with a single chemical.
They do. They
So
have.
maybe this
They
is-
actually are very good at refining oil into Menoth's fury.
So this could be an upgrade chemical.
Maybe, yeah. Like this could be part of. Maybe this is like a catalyst that can work with Menoth's fury.
I like it.
One of these days, those Menites are going to figure out that you can burn oil in engines and make it.
See a whole lot of
combustion.
tanking right now.
Yeah.
Just people trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do here, boys? Going after somebody. There's the Iron Gauntlet. His finger's just visible in the.
Where's the?
It's right there. It's right
yeah.
under the attendee
Poking
badge.
up.
You can see the glossy knuckles.
Yeah. In fact, somebody in the chat channel was just talking about the Iron Gauntlet.
All right, let's see. Let's draw a picture.
Okay. See your
All right.
see your
so,
drawing skills.
So what do we think is going to happen here? So we have a bunch of Signarans right here.
Yeah.
They've all clustered around.
Where's the dog?
The dog is. We're going to say the dog's right here.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not, but we're going to say that's the dog.
Sure.
I will draw a picture of a dog.
That's pretty good.
There's his tongue.
Okay.
Here's his
It's
waggy
got
tail.
a waggy tail.
Yeah. We'll put.
I really hope that the
motion
dog
line
got,
so we know it's waggy.
got supercharged with whatever
So there's the dog.
serum was.
So the
was
dog's
being
over here.
released.
This is an objective.
Yeah.
This. Let's see what else.
So these are all objectives if you want to.
Oh, all right. Objective. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we have a widget over here.
What is that?
It's a widget.
Okay.
So this is how you measure things.
Sure.
And yeah. So all we need to do is get everyone around here.
Yes.
And then we'll
Within
connect
several
these
inches.
like this. And then
That's a
we'll
mess.
come back over. The piping is not very great here. This one's kind of squirrely. It goes over here, comes around, goes through under here.
This is a pipe.
This is a rest. This is a rest area for people.
Okay, sure.
You know, so it's pretty important. And yeah, and then this little antenna right here is sending out SOS to the elves. So we'll put some pointy ears here. So there's some pointy ears on our elf. See,
All
that's
right.
our elf, and this is the SOS. Woo! So probably some retribution will show up soon over here.
Okay.
There we go.
I think
All right,
that-
so I think that explained everything now. There should
was
be no
solid.
more questions.
That was pretty solid. Well, I was really rooting for the Liberators, but they're definitely behind the curve right now.
You know, they're them and the wild cards, but if they and the wild cards combined,
So do you think the wild cards are actively working together?
no. Well, maybe. I mean, they're wild cards. You don't really know.
Can't tell.
Fuller FGC. Yes, we will be streaming Masters, I believe, tomorrow, and then we will also be doing the Iron Gauntlet. And I'm getting some times for those to let you know because I don't have them right on hand. But today is the narrative event for Company of Iron. If you remember last year, if you joined us for a show, we did the big Boars Gate massacre, which saw Holden get destroyed. So Masters coverage will begin at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Iron Gauntlet coverage will begin at 1:30 tomorrow Pacific time because we were just doing the last 2 rounds of Masters. It's a 7-round event. 5 of those rounds are happening right now. They are the last chance qualifiers, so the winner of that event will get into Iron Gauntlet, and as well as any of the top, I believe, 10 players could potentially score enough points to also earn their spot in. So check it out with that tomorrow. There will be myself, Pagani, William Hungerford. There will be a whole bunch of us.
We
we have a
our
narrative
first
event.
narrative event token being used at the Ios and Ruins table.
Ah, okay,
These
cool.
guys were under the misconception that they only got one for the entire event, but it was one per game. And it turns out we're probably only going to play one game, so we're using them. And what's your name?
Nick.
So Nick wants to supercharge his Madcap crew member.
I like it.
So describe what he does.
Okay, he's going to climb up the tower and, open one of the valves and just drink in as much of that stuff as he can and then leap off running in a direction and, set himself on, see if he can set himself off or explode himself.
So he's going to turn himself into a super cask imp.
Nice.
So this juice is unpredictable.
Yep.
So you're going to roll a die. If you
Juice
get a
is always
1,
unpredictable.
he's going to go off in a
Grimkin
random
doing it.
direction.
Okay.
But any other result, you get to choose the direction he jumps off of.
Okay. Here we go.
I like this.
I like it, too.
I like
Okay, so you
like
didn't
this
roll a
super
1.
distended.
So let's say he can jump
His belly's
3-ish
full.
inches away from the tower.
Okay.
He's just loaded
So you
up
get
on
to
who
plan
knows what.
5-inch
ready to go.
AoE. Anywhere
Ooh.
within 3 inches of the tower.
Nice.
Point of origin within 3 inches of the tower. And it's a big cask imp, basically. So it has all the stats of a cask imp, but it's a 5-inch AoE.
Okay.
Boom.
There we go. We got an air event finally on this table.
Boom.
You guys got to step up the game now.
So it
Yeah.
sounds to me like there's a mechanism in place for if players are eliminated, they can keep playing. So because they didn't want to have it where somebody gets like knocked out early in the event and doesn't get to play anymore.
Uh-oh. It looks like those poor Signarans are going to get in trouble.
They're going to get some Cask
So
Imp.
let's draw our Cask Imp really quick.
Sure.
So here's his barrel.
Hello.
There's that.
I'm
Here's
drinking it all.
Here's his happy face. All right. There he is.
It tastes delicious.
Here's his empty bottle of spirits that he just finished. And he is going to leap in this direction.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. And they're probably at first, they're like, what's he doing? Is he killing himself?
That's right. And then this is going to wind up with his arm over here
Oh.
and an arm over here.
This is why it's not a good idea to join the trenchers.
And then there's going to be probably his head's like going to wind up over here. And he's going to be sad now because he died.
What I'm imagining is one of the trenchers just like rapidly with his entrenching tool, like trying to dig in as the Cask Imp's coming down.
Digging.
He's like,
wait, here, we
"Oh,
can do
God."
that. Here's Trencher Stew. And he's
digging.
down here. And he's like,
I knew we should
got
have
a
set up
shovel.
trenches.
There's his shovel. And he's like, ah!
He's coming down.
And Trencher Bill gets blown up too.
This is pretty cool. I hope the other Grimkin appreciated the sacrifice.
I mean, they should, because that just blew up everybody. Those commandos were having an okay day, and then all of a sudden, this crazed, drunken Cask Imp leapt off a giant tower
Yep.
and exploded like an atom bomb.
Like I just imagine his stomach like rumbling.
Oh, yeah.
As he's coming.
He's
It's just
like, you can just hear it. It's just sloshing around. It's like a bag filled with liquid ham.
wait, but it looks like the dog made it.
Oh, well, the dog wasn't in the explosion radius.
That's
Sir
good.
Barks a lot.
Barks a lot is
He
good.
understands. He knows where you have to be.
Yep. Hopefully he won't go over and try to lick it up.
I mean, that's how he got Hulks the first time. He's just licking things.
So we had a couple survivors that are knocked down.
Yes. A few of them survived the horrors. I mean, mentally, they'll never survive.
they'll never.
They're broken.
All of them have pieces of Cask Imp
Yeah, they're
scattered across them.
They're shattered. They're shattered on the inside.
It smells really bad over there right now.
It's only a matter of time until the darkness overtakes them and they basically just descend into madness. Oh, all right. So we have
I'm not sure if
we have some.
he's not talking in the mic yet, I don't think.
Well, so they're talking about how you score points and,
Well,
and
it sounds-
siphon alchemical resources.
Yeah, it sounds like Oz wants there to be more alchemical craziness happening, so he's going to streamline some of
I
his
agree.
rules.
I agree. On the fly, it's a narrative event. The pipes have opened up wide.
Because I think that I can't remember the exact mechanism, but in the way the game is written right now, every time somebody is manipulating those objective markers, I think there's a chance that something happens with the tower. I think Oz wants to make that a little bit more automatic.
So the Liberators have just scored a point.
Oh, good.
So 3, 2, 2, and 1. So the
All right.
wild cards,
Yeah.
they can swing this however they want at this point.
The Liberators are still in it.
They have all of the power.
I think. Yeah, we'll double check, but I think
I mean, according to what the Oz man is saying right now.
the thing I'm not sure about is whether he said the wild card's got a point. But we'll double check on that.
It looks like we may have some kind of narrative shenanigans. And looks like, what table is that? The circle table?
Yeah, that's the circle table. in the
Something might
distance.
explode here.
One of the things that Pagani, I think, hypothesized is the placement of that tower might be such that the circle could teleport it somewhere if they wanted to.
Oh, yeah. They just use those. I would love to see that as the narrative for everybody. Be like, all right,
Teleport it
tell
to
you
another
what.
table, maybe,
I'm going to teleport this to that table over there.
and where it just lands upside down on top of everybody.
There you go. Then that table, they could just go have snacks. They'd be like, well, there's nothing here for us to fight over
That's
anymore.
right.
Why are we here?
I guess that wouldn't be good. We don't want to make everybody have to leave.
They wouldn't have to leave. They just, they could
Or
continue to
just
kill
fight
each
each other. Yeah,
Let's be honest, it's the Iron Kingdoms. They probably will continue to kill each other
just
just
kind of shrug as the tower disappears.
yeah, just out of pure principle. They'll be like, well, there's no reason for us to be here anymore, but it's the Iron Kingdoms. and you're not me, so
he
I
say-
have to murder you.
I think I might have heard Oz say something about putting alchemical juice in your pipe, but I'm not sure if I heard that right.
And smoking it?
I'm not sure. Somebody is negotiating for a narrative event.
Well, that madcap has already done his job here. I like how somebody brought along a tree as well. They were like, "A witchwood."
Yeah, I think there's two. I think it's one of those. I think there's two witchwoods with like whatever the format was.
And the
that
lone
breaks-
lantern man just hanging out. He's like, got this lantern.
shines light on things occasionally. But yeah, we'll have to double check the point values.
Oh.
So he's going to put, I think, some stuff in his pipe.
It sounds like we're having a discussion about a new narrative event. We see some cast imps appearing. Bloop, bloop.
Yeah, I feel like some of them aren't going extreme enough, with their narrative events. Like you
Yeah?
only get one of that.
I mean, you
Just
should
make
go
it-
over there and
make it
maybe
big.
you should go over there and maybe drop some knowledge. You should be like, look,
I want to see
I'm
him.
Doug Seacat, and I wrote the novel Blood of Kings.
I just keep always trying to sell that.
I'd like to point out, why not? It's a great book.
It is a good book. I
I'd like
enjoyed
to
it.
point out that when I write narratives, they become big and epic. Like when I had Vlad take on Vinter in the most
That's
epic
right.
sword clash ever. There was magic involved. There was some sweet armor. There was sword play.
It's true. I guess in retrospect, I don't know if I had enough explosions.
Their swords. I mean, would their swords explode?
No, that's the thing. It was more of a. I guess
That should have happened.
It was more
I
of a
gotta be
sword
honest.
clash.
My criticism now is in epic sword fight between Vlad and Vinter, swords did not lead to explosions. Every time the swords hit, they should have exploded.
that makes for less swords. They both had cool swords. Is the problem.
We're back with a narrative token
Oh.
at the
Narrative
train
token.
table. This is the last one.
Oh.
And what was your name?
Kevin Burton.
Last-
So Kevin wants to do something crazy with the juices in the tower.
So crazy, and it's not just
There we
juices.
go,
It's
yeah.
my secret sauce, my ghost flavoring. You know how you have the peppers? Not this. This is a tower full of
And
flavor.
and you've been working toward this the whole game.
4 rounds. I have dragged my cauldron. The Boil Master has
Oh, nice.
crunched it
It's
on
a
his
Boil
back,
Master.
walked all the way down this valley, and tapped in like a keg into this. I don't know what you call this. This tower of power. It's so good. So now the Boil Master is going to fill up the cauldron
I like
and
this.
see what kind of tasty delight comes forth.
Okay. So we're going to say a giant fountain of horrible ghost juice spews out, let's say within 8 inches of your cauldron.
8 inches?
Yeah. And it's going to be an aura for the rest of the round.
I like this. This
So-
sounds good.
Immediately, all of your undead things that are injured, that are not or knocked down, stand up, and are not injured anymore.
That's like most of my army.
Most of your army. And then within that aura of 8 inches,
Yeah.
all of your undead stuff gets signs importance. So roll 3 dice, drop the low, and all the living stuff, because this is making
Yeah.
them a little ill. They're going to have the opposite of that, of roll 3 dice, drop the high one,
Nice.
while they're within 8 inches of that cauldron for the rest of the round.
I like this a lot.
And
Now,
it turns off at the end of the round.
that's fair. Now, my only question is, how's it taste? What flavor
That's
profile?
up to you.
Ooh.
What is the flavor profile of ghost juice?
Let's give it a little
I can't
sweet
remember what
tang.
team
Sweet heat.
this is. The Gatorman
I don't
player,
think that
right?
anything is sweet about that cauldron.
Maybe it's just a reptilian taste. Sure. Yeah, sure. We'll throw sweet
Lizard juice?
It's a complex flavor. It's got some
Okay. I think we're done now.
some asphalt flavor, a little bit of some tannins.
Tannins? That's a wine thing.
I know.
Is it a wine-based sauce?
Yeah, well, there's some wine in there.
Oh,
We're in Lale, or were maybe.
maybe we don't know.
There were some grapes
Might be.
involved.
Grapes. I've been asked for more Schick Madden breakdown, so yeah, let's do this.
Well, we
Let's
gotta
see
get
what's
to a
going to
good
happen
angle
here. All right, Doug, narrate for me. I'll draw. What's happening?
All right. Well, I think we've got something going on with Cricks. So it looks
Okay,
like
so over here,
yeah, I think there's something going on
Over here?
up in there.
is there a ghost?
There's a specter that is sneaking into the battlefield, maybe trying to possess the tower. And yeah, that's pretty good. And he He was probably summoned by that ghost.
Oh.
That ghost spill.
Summoned?
that
Okay, hold on.
Well, but remember the on the other table, the Gatormen are messing with dark necromantic forces.
Here's our
and
summon guy.
They're doing it for their own purposes. I think Crix would benefit from that, and so, so of course, this malevolent wraith.
There's our bubbly Cauldron.
He is a wraith king of Hell's Hook.
Oh, he's a king?
Yeah,
I got to give him a crown then. Okay.
it's a wraith king from Hell's Hook.
Here's
who
his crown.
Has been drawn.
Does he need a hook? Because he's from Hell's Hook?
I guess, sure.
Okay. There's his
I mean,
his
it's
crook.
just the name of the place, but
Well, I
could have
mean,
a
you know,
hook.
yeah, give him a hook there. Now he's got a crown and a crook. He's saying boo.
yeah, he's coming in. I mean,
Uh,
everybody is
here's the
terrified when
Cauldron
the
over
Wraith
here.
King shows up.
I
That's
guess this is supposed to be more like a Gatorman, so let's give him like some gator teeth.
well.
There we
I think
go.
I think the Gatormen are on
It's not a duck, I swear.
they're on a different table, but they
Uh-huh.
can just sort of see this happening.
Well,
in the
okay, so
distance.
he's over here.
yeah,
He's like in that direction
Yeah.
somewhere.
It's the
It's coming
Boil
this
Master.
way. Yeah, things are happening. It's fine.
Yeah.
What else? What else
Well-
we got? So what's the Wraith King doing exactly?
Well, I think he's coming to possess the tower.
oh,
Like,
he's
I
going
think-
to possess the tower?
Yeah, he's going to animate
Oh.
the tower.
So he's going this way.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
going to try to head that way.
Do we have a foil for the Ghost King?
I don't know.
Like, is there anyone here who might
well,
be able
I
to
think
stand
the,
against
I think
his
the Grimkin,
reign?
maybe one of the Witchwoods.
The Witchwoods?
Yeah.
Oh, so I now have to draw a tree. This is it's gonna be difficult, Doug. Here, this is my tree.
All right. That looks like a vegetable. Like a broccoli,
Like
maybe.
broccoli tree? Here, wait. We'll give him some eyes. Uh-huh.
Sure.
Uh-huh. And he will say
That-
wood.
Hit.
Oh.
All right.
We have a narrative token.
Here we go.
Whoop.
Okay, we've got another narrative event token. Everything's speeding
Excellent.
up toward the end of the event
That's what I like to
at
see.
the Iozan table. What was your name?
Dan.
Dan. So what you guys didn't see maybe earlier is that they had the tower trigger a juicing event for one member of each team getting crazy superpowered. So you want to like double down on that and
Yeah.
do something even crazier.
Yeah, so even crazier, I have a Blood Witch that is currently juiced. So
nice.
she's going to combine the juice effect from the tower with her own ritual blood magic to go crazy and sort of run amok and trample
Enter a
through the
rampage.
Signarin defenders.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
gonna
so the Blood
trample.
Witches can already cut themselves for boosted damage and stuff like that. So she's going to like drink her own alchemically infused blood
Yeah.
and go crazy and
Nice.
basically turn into a whirlwind of death.
It might not go so
Pseudo
well for
trample.
her.
And then she is a juiced model could explode. She's going to automatically explode.
Yeah.
Okay?
You always
so there we go.
You always get cooler
Let's
effects
see
if
what
you're
happens.
willing to get rid of your model at the end of it. All right. let's see
All
what's
right,
go-
so it looks
I
like
still,
we're
I wish,
determining the path.
I wish we knew whether our dog was juiced
Oh,
up.
well, we're just going to say the dog's juiced up.
All right. I hope the dog.
All right, here
wins.
it goes. It's running. She murders one guy.
Just
goes to the next
rampaging
one.
through, like
Yeah.
shrieking, with like little cuts all along her body.
I think that, yeah,
And-
probably.
and she's
Just like drinking it, pouring
Yeah.
it in. It's fine.
way more blood spraying out of her than it seems like should fit in her body.
I mean, you can never discount the blood witches.
No.
They're monsters. That's all
Well,
there is to
I
it.
think they've got concentrated blood.
Do they? Concentrated blood?
Yeah, they have more blood than usual.
I see. What, like normally, or because she's juiced up?
Well, both.
Oh,
Well, I think normally their blood is extra dense.
oh, I see.
It weighs
They have
twice as
dense
much
blood?
as normal blood.
Why do they have dense blood? Like, what's the science behind that? I'm just curious.
Well, it's less of a science than more
Oh.
of a mystical art.
More of a mystic thing? Just,
Well, it's as you're bringing in the blood, you're concentrating.
I feel like what I'm doing right now is I spent a couple of coppers on the Iron Kingdom's guide on the side of the street, and he's just laying this info on me.
Sure.
And I'm like, are you sure about this? Oh, yeah, I'm definitely sure about this. Trust me. I probably should have paid the extra money for Pendrake, but instead,
You got the guy on the side of the street.
that's right.
Removing some dead guy tokens.
Yep.
From the
Well,
board.
so it looks like she got a total of like 3 or 4 guys as she tore through everybody.
And then exploded into meat gibbets.
Yeah, and there she is way over there exploding with more
Maybe-
guys.
Maybe she hasn't exploded yet.
No, I think she did.
Did she?
Because I think there's more dudes over there with blood tokens on them.
It also looks like we have some tree carnage on the table.
That's just
There's a lot
fallen
of
leaves.
It is autumn.
I think Danny took his bag of foliage and just kind of sprinkled it over
I
like
see.
a fine salt seasoning.
Okay. You don't think he's going to be upset by all the
No. He did that himself.
Okay.
I mean, it was like that before anybody was playing on the
Okay.
table. I think
So
it was purposeful.
It's just autumn. It's,
Yeah.
it's a nice season.
There's some foliage fall, a little dash of color. Apparently, I've been told that you're allowed to do whatever you want. I question that.
That's not always true.
I'm pretty sure blood weavers have denser blood
That's the kind of
because
fact.
of mystical reasons.
That's the kind of fact I can usually get away with.
Is that the kind of fact that we'd find in Doug Seacat's novel Blood of Kings?
No. But Blood of Kings will tell you all about many other amazing conflicts, especially the Second Signarin Civil
But
War.
I want to know esoteric knowledge about blood density in the Iron Kingdoms.
There is some blood talk in Blood of Kings,
Yeah?
mostly having to do with the bloodlines of royalty.
I see.
There's a good conversation between Vlad and Vinter before they start
fighting,
duking it out.
with their exploding swords.
Well, and some of the conversation happens like while they're fighting. Of course.
And it looks like a casualty roll is failed, so somebody just died. It's very sad. Another one.
Yeah.
Dies.
Getting some deaths.
I don't know that there's a whole lot left on the is it the Grimkin side?
Was that the Grimkin that got hit by
Well, no, because the Bloodweaver went after a bunch of Signarans, but then the Grimkin player was rolling some dice because you said he was the top corner,
Well,
right?
I know the Cask Imp, the Grimkin player was in the top left. I don't know.
Now we're back to the circle thing.
Let's see what's going on here. It's a little hard to
Apparently,
tell.
the Opportunists have scored another point.
How many do the wild cards have?
All right, so it looks like the Opportunists are going to go up to 3 points now
Ooh, got a tie game.
between the Defenders and the Opportunists.
Yeah.
I know the Liberators and the Wildcards need to join forces.
Yep, the wild cards are struggling.
They're Wildcards.
That's
though.
what happens with wild
They're
cards.
just gonna donate their points to whoever they feel like at
Sure.
the time.
I just hope they come up with some cool narrative events while they're doing their craziness.
Yeah.
I did like that Cask Imp.
The
flying
exploding
off
casking bomb.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And that was impressive. I'm impressed he was able to climb that tower wearing a giant barrel.
Yeah, that's tough. That's some tough.
I mean, they don't
climbing.
have very long arms.
No.
Pretty stubby fingers.
Seems like that would take a while. Maybe he didn't get all the way up. Like maybe he thought he was pretty high, but he was just like 10 feet off the ground.
I mean, he's drunk. He doesn't
Yeah,
know.
He doesn't know.
He wasn't even in the air. He just tripped and fell over.
That reminds me of a college incident with one of my friends. Who tried to do a drunken speech from on top of a ladder. It didn't work out well.
No.
No. He had to wear a cast on his broken leg after that. Speechifying from the top towers while drunk is not recommended. By
Not recommended. What do you think the Cask Imp was speeching about?
I think he was talking about the need for fewer laws.
Fewer laws.
Fewer
Okay.
laws
Uh-huh.
limiting alcoholic
I see.
consumption.
Are there any laws about that in the Iron
No.
Kingdoms? I didn't, so he wants fewer than zero.
Yeah.
He needs negative laws.
Now, I do think there might be some protective trade laws. Kingsvine related
Sure.
to wine. Like I
Well,
think,
sure.
I think in Signar you can't have Lely's wine sometimes.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, in certain places.
I see. It's just like you
Or
can
there's a
only
high
buy,
tariff.
You can only buy our wines. I mean, tariffs I could see.
Yeah. But I don't think there's not much restriction.
So what is the drink of choice in Ord?
I think
We know Liley's like their wine.
I think there's some whiskey.
Whiskey?
It's whiskey.
Uski?
We have it spelled a little funny.
I thought
in
that
there.
was Kador. I thought they
Kador
were all
also
about their
likes
Uski.
whiskey, but they also have Vyadka.
Right.
So I'd say Vyadka is a little more Kadoran.
I see.
The
I mean, I
truth is,
assume that Vyadka is mostly just a rubbing alcohol.
it's really harsh.
Like it pretty
Yeah,
much
it's really
just
harsh.
strips paint off of
But
things.
whiskey is just all you need for that is grains. So it's all over the place.
I see.
But or you got your whiskey. I do think there's probably some fine dessert liqueurs.
Oh,
Ord.
in Ord?
Sure.
Oh, what kind of dessert?
Well,
Like a chocolate?
they prefer like heavier.
Do they have chocolate in the Iron Kingdoms?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do they? Where's it come from?
Zoo?
Zoo.
Yeah, cocoa comes from zoo.
Interesting.
Right,
what-
we know that's where coffee comes
Does
from.
Signar drink beer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Is that their main drink of choice? Just beer?
I think like a light ale.
Uh-huh.
They like some pale ales.
Yeah.
yeah.
What about Protectorate?
Wine also. Protectorate. There's not a lot of drinking in the Protectorate.
Really? I would think there'd be a lot of drinking in the Protectorate.
Now I'm not saying there's no drinking, because as we've talked about before, and it's even entered into some of the narratives. The priests are a privileged class.
So
And
the
we know-
priests are drunk.
We know,
Everyone else,
we
no
know
drinking.
that the priests have some special privileges in terms of food, because like all the food is rationed in the Protectorate.
Right.
Like you go down to get your like allotment of biscuits or whatever. Some.
Isn't their currency also clay bricks that they break off of like a
little
Kit
clay-
Kat bar?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a clay Kit Kat.
So, but the priests get a pretty, they're the rulers. They're
Right,
the ruling,
sure.
the ruling elite. And that's something you're not supposed to abuse, but we know
Yeah.
not every priest is equally
fervent in their belief.
or worried about the corruption. It's one of the
mm-hmm.
things that we kind of got into a little bit, recently with a couple of our people, like your story for Tristan. Had him looking into a scrutator that was kind of indulging.
There's definitely some bad scrutators out there.
But not many. Like you can't last long, I don't think, as a scrutator, because they kind of self-police usually.
No, you'd hope so.
But if you're kind of on the
But
fringes,
we feel like that guy. He just wound up in one of the Lyleese like occupied cities. There's nobody around.
Sure.
Abelin was like, I'm just gonna do some stuff.
yeah. But I think one of the things with the Protectorate religion is the idea that there's this work ethic, and so anything that would impair your ability to do your job could get you in trouble. So again, once you're at a certain, like if you're a priest, there's not that many people can get you in trouble.
Right,
Just a
right.
scrutator. But like let's say you're a
Scrutator.
farmer and you get drunk, you're not doing your job.
Uh-huh.
Pretty soon you're in a mine.
I don't know why it's really hard for me to imagine a Protectorate farmer.
There's farms. They're not good. It's dry. It's dry land.
Very dry. It's very
barren.
arid.
Yeah, but there's farms. They gotta have food. It's not all just fish in the Protectorate.
I mean, honestly, like when I envision the Protectorate, I just assume there are people who don't eat. Like your biscuit conversation is about as far as I can go. It's just dry hardtack.
Sure.
all
Well, there
the
is a lot
time.
of that, I think. There's a lot of biscuits. But if you like put a little water on the biscuit,
It softens
soften
up.
it up a little bit.
Right. just gum away.
And then
I mean, a good biscuit, the Protector's going to take you an entire
and
day
maybe,
to
and
eat.
maybe you got like some beef jerky that's
Oh,
really
you get some
up.
dried meat?
Kind of put a little water in there, get some meat juice on your biscuit.
Beet juice? I would think like maybe some cactus leavings, like
Sure.
shave some cactus.
Yeah, that's
a little bit of flavor.
That's a good lunch.
Apparently, Striker 911 in the chat wants to know if zoo is just South America.
No.
I always took it more as like an Africa, South America.
South America is not too far off. There's definitely some tropical areas there, but like we haven't had a chance to really fully flesh out zoo, but we know there are jungles. It is definitely a place that has abundant vegetation. But I think it's a large enough continent that there be like multiple ecosystems. There could be some mountains. We don't know. We haven't seen a map of zoo yet.
Should get on that. Wasn't there a No Quarter article that kind of focused on?
Yeah, we
at least the trading ports in zoo.
It's Canesta is the name of the trading port. It's kind of like the one place you're allowed to go as an Emery's. They've kind of set it up to where like you're supposed to come through Canesta because they're very sort of xenophobic, and a little bit uneasy about contact with outsiders. And so all of the trading houses are set up in Canesta, and a couple of our Iron Kingdom's nations have set up little outposts nearby, but we haven't had a chance to really kind of explore like the coastline and the interior of zoo yet. Although we've kind of hinted that the pirates have been lurking about down there. They probably know a few of the outer islands and things.
Well, and the primary populace of zoo, like they're humans, right?
Yeah, it's mostly humans, just various tribes, and that was one of the fun things of that No Quarter you're talking about. Is we had a chance to kind of show a little bit of the perspective of some of the zooese locals. And I don't remember the details of the story entirely, but I think there was kind of a fun exchange where I think we had it where like I can't remember if it was Rock Bottom. I think it might have been Rock Bottom, but like where like somebody thought they were being clever and kind of getting ahead on an agreement. But of course, the Zooies are really giving them like the shoddiest stuff possible. You know, like you think you got like the really cool spices,
Right.
and
I mean, effectively, the classiest spice from Zoo is just rat droppings. There's Zooey's rat droppings.
Right.
Like these stupid foreigners, they don't even know what they're doing.
The Emery's haven't had the really good chocolate yet.
Oh, so the Opportunists have just scored another point, apparently, and are now in the lead.
Pulled into the lead. Oh, we're back on the. Oh, no, we were on the swamp table for a second there.
We were. Now things are happening. Maybe.
So it looks like the we still have an is that an Ogren up there on
An
the trencher
Ogre?
team?
That's a trench buster. Yeah.
Trench buster.
Yeah, he's there.
He is still.
He might be the only one holding the line at this point because it looks like Sir Bartslop.
Looks like we still got a couple trenchers left. Maybe they didn't all go down.
It doesn't look like they bled out because they definitely had injuries on
It
them.
does look like the Cricks have sort of are right all up in with the Grimkin. Does not look like there's many Grimkin left unless they're all around that tower.
I think that those are the only Grimkin left, actually. Sounds like we've got a little discussion on the narrative. You should go over there and help him with his narrative. He sounds like he's struggling a little bit. Yeah, he wants to do some cool stuff. He can't quite find the story.
I wouldn't want to interfere with Oz, his interpretation.
Oh, it sounds like the Crixians are going to call in their
They're going to call in
their
some
bombardment,
some offboard artillery from some Crixian ships. Now that makes me wonder. It can't be anywhere near Lale, this particular spot, right?
No. Well, I don't know if you can say that because Crix clearly has some floating ghost ships.
So you think
this could be a ghost ship barrage?
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we get a ghost ship.
Yeah.
Goes up the rivers. He's moving up near the forest.
Yep. And just starts launching cannon shots.
About to have some
I like how the
offboard.
statement started with, "That makes sense." There's a ghost ship going up the rivers so that it can shoot some cannonballs.
Here's the thing. Lale and Ios are landlocked. They don't have any oceans nearby.
Well, we don't know that.
We do, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the map. Now,
For
the
those
nearest-
people who haven't read Blood of Kings by Douglas Seacat, they may not understand the geography.
the closest inland sea to Ios is Lake Armsteep in Rule.
Okay.
So maybe some Crixian ghost ships
just
made
snuck
their
in.
way up onto Lake Armsteep.
I don't understand why when it's a ghost ship, it has to follow water. It's a ghost ship. It can
The
go
ghost
anywhere it
ships
wants.
usually stay on the water, though. We have not been shown ghost ships roaming about on the plains.
I mean, unless
and
you're
through
Scar
the desert.
3.
Scar 3 has a special,
She has half a ghost ship.
incomplete back end of a mobile ghost ship.
Oh, the train has been wrecked.
Oh, the train is down.
That's unfortunate.
Wow.
The poor train.
Is that from the explosion or from something else that happened, I wonder?
So, yeah, this is kind of our first real good look at the train table going on
Yeah, it was
right
sort
now.
of furthest from our cameras, so
It
it's
was.
nice that we'll be able to get a
Snuck
look
in.
at it.
We can see that the train has been destroyed.
Oh, and we can see the Boilmaster's pot there, right?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that-
there's where the secret sauce is. It's been
So that's-
filling it up with juice.
What other do we have? Some other? What else do we have on that side?
We've got a big cannon, apparently, that people could launch bombard shots at.
But what other team members?
I don't know. Let's look. It looks like we've got some Trollkin, some Northkin, because there was a bear handler.
I do remember hearing that there was.
We got
Northkin on
Grimkin
that
over
table.
here for sure, because the Gremlins possessed the train at one point.
But are there any other Gatormen down there? Or let's see.
Yeah, there's some bog trogs. There's some undead bog trogs for
Okay.
sure. So you got the Bokur. Looks like the Bokur, right there.
Okay.
There's the leader, and there's his little bog trog minions.
Yeah.
And there's the Cauldron.
And there's some other stuff through the trees there that's a little hard to make out.
Yeah, that might be Grimkin. Maybe looks like maybe it's Grimkin.
But yeah, there's been a lot of
Oh
action.
no, I did it wrong.
There's been a lot of action
back.
on this table. Because of the train, the train's been taken over by Grimkin swarms and some other stuff.
Apparently, there's some mercenaries on there.
Okay, cool.
So it's mercenaries, Trollkin, Grimkin, and minions.
I kind of like that. That's an almost reasonable set of
Almost a
adversaries.
reasonable set of adversaries. I mean, we're still missing the Kidorans, who apparently stole the deeds to these things.
Both the Cauldrons and honestly the Order of the Golden Crucible have proven to be really lazy in this engagement and not willing to take up the battle personally.
Apparently, Rikers Island has pictured the Zooies as aquatic amphibians with crab and shark beasts.
There could be any number of things in zoo, like there could be any number of beasts and creatures
They're
on the
bird
continent
people?
of zoo. That's up to Matt Wilson.
I see.
But I'm just saying, most of what we have seen of the Zooies are humans.
I thought at one
They're
point
human beings.
there was discussion of bird people.
If so, that was above my pay grade.
I think it was with you. I think we talked about bird people. Narrative event.
I'd be up for some bird people. Okay, but meanwhile, here's
Okay, we're doing another narrative token situation back here at this Orboros table where other crazy things have happened. The game has sped up a lot in the last couple rounds, and there's now some druids and a Satixis, right?
Right.
So I can't even see her. She's hiding behind back there. So this is desperation move. So what's your plan?
I want a bombardment to come from the coast and just nuke all these druids.
So we're going to say that narratively this is happening near some boats of yours. And let's say this is such a like Hail Mary pass. We're going to go
He doesn't know about
D3
the
plus
ghost boats
2,
yet.
3-inch AoE cannon shots that are just going to deviate off the tower. Because it's the only thing they can see, so they're just aiming at the tower. And they're all going to deviate off. And then we'll see if anybody is... this could hit his model too. So we're going to see if anybody's standing on this table. And this table might just get wiped out entirely.
Long-range artillery is
If
risky.
one army is the last army on a table, they do score 1 bonus point. And scores are getting much, much closer since the opportunities have kind of swept this table. So we'll see what happens, and we'll be back with more narrative action at Lock and Load.
I like Oz's sign-offs. I think those are the best. It's just like, we'll be back momentarily.
More narrative
action. Lock and Load 2018. Oh, there's Mike Ryan, our director of publications, just wandering around. All right, here we go.
See, he's going to use a silly little Revenant cannon. Like he needs to be doing some
He should have called in the Wraith engine cannons, and he should
Yeah.
have dropped Wraith engines on
That's
the
what
table.
I'm saying. Or or you could do like just some massive like POW 20 hits or something.
Yeah.
Knock them
just
across the table.
Start slam. Those are more direct shot, though. I mean, based on the Commodore cannon, they're
The
not
Commodore,
really,
that's what
not really indirect.
I was blanking Shay's cannon, but yeah, the Commodore cannon was kind of what I was hoping
Yeah.
for.
But again, that's more of a direct shot, and clearly they don't
Yeah, that's true.
understand
This is
that
arcing fire artillery.
they don't
from
understand
the
that these ghost ships have like traversed the continent.
So do you think
and
this
are right
is
there.
Do you think this is like a direct fire incorporeal going through all miles worth of trees and things?
Oh yeah,
to hit here?
absolutely. This is
So what you're doing is you're signaling, like when you're a long range ghost artillery officer, what you're doing is figuring out the time for incorporeal.
yeah.
So your measurements are based on how far will this take incorporeal to reach the target.
I don't think that there's like a formula for that.
No?
I think you remember in Roger Rabbit when they had the bullets that talked and flew around
Now,
and then went the
come on
wrong
now.
direction. Like I think that's what they're doing. They're opening this case of ghosts, these rowdy ghost bullets. They're loading them into the gun. They're just firing away, and the ghosts are just going after the targets.
Necrotex
now,
can do math.
The ghost bullets aren't very smart though. Like they're ghost bullets. You're not going to put your best ghost in a bullet.
Well, yeah,
They're
it's
expendable.
Well, and as we've talked about before, like with I think it's the which is the Leviathan, the Harrower. The Harrower cannon has soul filled ammunition, and so it causes a shrieking.
Yeah,
like
it does.
the soul is tormented as it is fired. You know,
See, I think these ones probably not tormented.
They're liking it?
These are probably like they're on board. These are
on
some
board with
shard.
it?
These are some shard pirates who really liked explosions.
Okay.
Their souls were imbued in bullets.
well, that actually is an interesting idea. Like if you were able to get like Revenant essence into a cannonball. Could you fire the cannonball, have it impact its target, and then
And
turn
then
into
the Revenant would just like
into
pop
a Revenant?
up?
Yeah,
I mean, is the quartermaster there? I don't know.
maybe like you send the quartermaster ahead, and then have your Revenant cannons fire in.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting question. So in the game, you have to have the quartermaster around for the Revenants to come back too.
But maybe he's just the
But-
first shot. Like,
But that's just an abstraction from the game. In the narrative, if a Revenant dies and there's no quartermaster, they just go back to the ship, right?
right? Yeah.
So I mean, like you can
Then
never
you
get
just
rid of them.
reload.
dude, why aren't they just making all kinds of artillery out of revenants?
Revenants do make the best ghost artillery, which
Clearly,
we figured out right here.
We have solved like everything.
I mean, if the Crixians figure this out, if like Lich Lord Tenebris gets on that, I foresee a lot of dangerous times.
I mean, people are wondering about Infernals and fluff. You want to talk a little bit about like what are the Infernals for people who might not have played the RPG?
Oh, just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Well, the Infernals are definitely one of our more enigmatic, mysterious groups in the setting. And the idea with the Infernals is they're otherworldly in a way that, like, you know, we've kind of set up where you have Cain, which is the world of the living. You have Urkane, which is where the dead are. The Infernals are not from either one of those. They're from somewhere beyond Urkane. So, like, you can imagine it like outer space of the spiritual world. They're from some other faraway realm beyond, like some gulf, supernatural gulf.
Yeah.
And the Infernals really like souls. They use souls as like a basic building material. Like they can take a soul and turn it into something
like
else.
Tooth Fairy uses teeth.
I guess.
Did you ever read that book?
No. Does the Tooth Fairy turn teeth into things?
Yeah,
That's
she builds
pretty
like her
macabre.
entire world is built of teeth.
That's creepy.
There's a book. It used to be at my dentist's office. Like she comes, she takes the teeth, and they're like, "What do you do with the teeth?" And then the kids go with
That's
her.
horrifying. So there's like a tooth castle somewhere?
Yeah, there's a tooth castle. She's like, and she has like little teeth minions that build her castle. Look, it's a real book. Look it up. I'm not gonna spend. So
well,
they
we
use
should
souls
probably
to build stuff.
borrow from some of that because a
We
tooth
should.
castle sounds pretty cool. You know, maybe
I mean, it's
somewhere.
uncomfortable, but
but no, they. I guess to some degree, your comparison is apt. The Infernals are really good at manipulating spiritual soul essence and are able to like make their own warriors out of it. They're able to make, and they use it like a currency. And so one of the ideas with the Infernals is. They don't themselves have souls. Like they're something else, but they're able to manipulate souls, and they're also really powerful magically. They're the ones who maybe were involved with Thamar in giving humanity magic. There was some kind of deal or arrangement that went down, and nobody knows the exact nature of that agreement. But the notion is that at some point there's supposed to be some great payment due to the Infernals for whatever Thamar arranged to bring magic to humanity. The reason why that was done was to preserve both her religion and Maro's religion from destruction by the Orgoth.
right.
So the Infernals are this weird, otherworldly, external power that makes deals for souls, and they're able to like contact spellcasters, infernalists.
I mean, they're
and make
effectively
offers to them.
They're effectively like
It's a
ghostly
Faust.
space lawyers.
Yes.
Like they just show up and they're like, "Hey, sign this document."
It's a Faustian compact, a deal with the devil.
But if you're smart enough, which nobody is, but if you're
Well, some
smart
people
enough,
are.
you could come out on top in
You
a
can.
deal, right?
Well,
'Cause,
honestly,
like,
I mean, nobody would do it if it was always immediately bad. Like one of the ideas with the Infernals is they will give you a real benefit. Now, long term, you owe them,
right.
and so what it's like this corruptive element that like they want more and more souls. So if you can deliver a lot of souls to them, you can stay on their good side for a while. You
Right.
can be for operating Infernalist. Maybe you get some cool perks. You get like a longer lifespan. You get some cool like fireball spells you can do.
Right.
You know, like maybe you couldn't do magic before. Now you can, and you're going to live a long time. But then eventually you got to pay them back, and
Right.
their rates get increasingly high. And
The interest rates just keep
Yeah.
jacking up, right?
But they are really hard to negotiate with, and so the idea is that probably your average sort of dim-witted wannabe infernalist is probably making a bad deal.
Right.
Like he's probably signing on for things he didn't know,
Sure.
and so he's going to be just a pawn, a dupe. Higher-end infernalist maybe is bringing in a lot of souls, but he has to be doing increasingly horrible things
Right.
to stay on their good side. And so the idea is in the long run, it's almost always going to be, it's kind of like the idea in with gambling. The house always wins. The Infernals always win ultimately. But you can get out as an individual power-mad, amoral madman.
You can get all kinds of good stuff.
You can get some good stuff. Like one of the examples we have of sort of the patron saint of infernalists was a scion, one of the scions of Thamar, the first scion, who extended his lifespan but sacrificed entire towns worth of souls to the infernals to like extend his life.
But as a Scion, he clearly got away with it.
he did.
Like,
he
got away
seems like he
clean.
got away with it.
Because
Maybe.
otherwise, how do you become a Scion?
That's a good point. So he might be the one that got away with it.
He's the only one.
Well, we also know Thamar looked into infernal stuff too. So like, but one of the things that's interesting is that relationship evolved. Like we kind of have it set up where a lot of infernalists think of themselves as Thamarites, like because she endorses power. Like any route to power is
Right.
ostensibly
Is okay.
But at a certain point, not too long ago, she started to tell her followers like, stop dealing with the infernals. Like,
You need to dial it back.
dial it back. So you can get the idea that maybe those deals that she set up, she might be trying to welch out on that. Like Thamar might be trying to like pull a fast one
Might
on
be
the
trying
infernals.
to sneak around.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So-
she's shifty. It makes sense.
She is very shifty. So the idea is that even the Thamarites now, like if you're a dedicated Thamarite, you probably shouldn't be dealing with infernals, or at the very least, not offering them any Thamarite souls. Marwyn souls, that's okay.
Well, what about Menite souls? You think
Menite
that
souls are
probably
fine.
like number one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are like the different souls from different gods, like different kinds of material for them? You know, like
Well, not
like
necessarily.
Samurai souls are kind of the crappiest ones. They're
No.
like they're like rotten wood.
No,
And then
no, that is
Menite
not the
souls
case.
are
No, actually, Thamarite, like the way that it works, like even the whole concept of ascension to a god, that is making your soul stronger. So, like the one of the ideas in the setting is the mortal soul has infinite potential, and if you can get powerful enough, you can get a god-like soul. So, like Maro and Thamar probably have like the coolest souls.
have the best
possible. They have
souls?
the god souls.
right.
But
Menoth has like he's got the Tinder souls. He's just terrible like matchstick souls.
no, there's other good souls, but I'm just saying like it's more about like how enlightened and powerful you
Well,
are.
given that the Menite religion really despises that,
Well, but like take for example our warcasters. Like one of the ideas is probably our warcasters have very powerful souls because they can channel magic so strongly. So Fiora probably has a really awesome, powerful soul.
I mean, Fiora's just a Thamarite in disguise.
Maybe.
There's zero question.
If you think so.
That is happening.
but I'm just saying, regardless of what you think of her ethics,
you know, it's a fluid thing.
I'm just saying she
These
has
are social
there's
constructs by which you
almost-
live your life.
there's almost no question that Fiora has a really powerful soul because she's a very powerful
Sure.
individual, and somebody like the Harbinger is a very powerful soul.
Fiora always reminded me of like the villain in most 80s like workplace comedies.
Oh sure,
You know, like she totally come in with the shoulders business
sharp
suit.
sharp shoulders.
Yeah.
and,
She'd be like ruthless, anything to the top. And our poor plucky upstart would have to deal with that in some way.
that'd be like Tristan.
Yeah, sure. Tristan could be the plucky upstart.
Just wants to kind of do a good job.
Yeah,
like wants
he's just
to
like, look, I
help
believe in this
serve
place.
the creator.
And she's like, you step on everybody to the top. Everyone's a means to an end.
Yeah, and Resnick's kind of interesting because he's an extremist, but he also seems like he's got a code. He's got a certain thing he does.
I mean, I think Resnick is cool as long as he gets to do his thing, right?
Right.
He
Right.
came to the Protectorate because he's really good at one thing, and they were like, hey, we'll give you a scholarship. You got a
Right.
full ride to do this. See,
But and
Malachus, to me, he's the
Mal-
only
I was just
true
about to bring up
believer. He's
Malachus.
the only true believer.
I was going to bring up Malachus earlier when we were talking about the drinking priests.
Because he drinks a lot?
No, because
Uh-oh, narrative.
Oh,
Okay, we have another narrative event token being used on the Iosin table to try and even the odds here. The Signarans are in force still, and other armies are dwindling. So what was your name?
Harry.
So, Harry, you want to do something crazy with your Statixis Raider captain.
Absolutely. She needs to get in there and turn the tide here. And I think that in a way, she's got to channel her old school days when she was a lowly Statixis unit leader and get her whip to do a nice thresher spin around.
So, she has a multitude of targets right there, and she's going to try and thresher them all. But since this is a big, wide arc, if she misses an attack roll, she's going to fall down. Even though she can't normally fall down, she's still going to fall down. Because she gets dizzy and she collapses.
Okay, let's do that. All right.
Like our narrative is dizzy Statixis Raider falls down. All right, so Malachus.
So I was going to say, with Malachus, we were talking about drunken priests and having some self-control, and I think Malachus is a good example of someone who understands that, like, those kind of temptations to eat too much, to drink too much, that can interfere with your faith, with your worship of the Creator. And so he, like, we talk about how he even, like, punishes himself
Right.
for any perceived weakness.
Mhm.
You know, so I do think he's somebody who's striving constantly to follow the right path.
Mhm.
Now he's also maybe a little insane. And
Just a teensy bit.
He had a rough childhood and
He did.
was
He's-
abused.
He's definitely a little scarred.
Yeah, and
emotionally.
but he is somebody who is not a hypocrite. He sticks to his beliefs. Whereas Fiora, I don't know. Fiora's a little tricky. Like
I'm telling you, Fiora's a Thamurite. Like there's zero question.
I don't know if I'd go so far as to say that, but
Really?
I do think
I believe that if you read the novel Blood of Kings by Douglas Seacat, you would discover that she has no moralistic qualms about getting to power.
She is her obsession with becoming more powerful does seem to put her on the dark.
She's squarely in
the
Thamar's
dark
court.
coalition. But so far, there she has not been smitten down by the Menites. She has not. The Scrutators have not come down on her.
She is the Starscream of the Iron Kingdom. Like there are so many times where they've been like, "Look at everything you did. You literally broke all the rules."
No, but she went to trial.
Yeah.
This happened in Godless.
It did.
Which was an excellent book
By Oren Gray.
Oren Gray,
Uh-huh.
highly recommended.
Yep.
Read
The conclusion.
Read Blood of Kings.
It follows
first.
read Blood of Kings by Douglas Seacat, and then followed up with Godless because it picks
Yes,
up right
it picks
where
up right after.
Blood of Kings leaves off.
But Fiora was vindicated
Mhm.
in this trial.
I mean, was she?
The Vigoths were like, you know what? What you did was actually heroism.
Oh.
You maybe disobeyed the hierarch. But I will say there was some disagreement on that front.
I mean,
there were,
I feel
there
like
were three.
she-
There were
she
three
had-
of the Vigoths
yeah.
that disagreed.
She had 4 in her pocket.
Possibly there was some corruption, or they just got caught up in the moment. Like
Yeah.
Fiora gave like a really good speech.
Sure, just rousing speech.
In RPG terms, like
Mhm.
she just got.
She
like
just
a
rolled
really,
a 20.
She rolled really good.
She rolled a 20
on her oratory check.
Crit success.
Crit success, and but I do think there's the fact that she was vindicated by Menite law. We can't
Mhm.
necessarily
I see,
consider
I
her
see.
to be guilty,
Right.
when they
What?
said she wasn't.
Once, I mean, no one said she's guilty. And she's clearly succeeding here. But the fact of the matter is, this is very Thamurite. She's manipulating things to her,
I
to
do
her
think
own interests.
that if you describe the Thamurite ethos and you look at what Fiora has done, it's easy to make parallels between the two.
Yeah, no. I mean, if
I can
it's got-
see where you're coming
If it's
from.
got 4 legs and whinnies and looks like a horse, it's clearly a zebra.
Sometimes it's a giraffe, though.
Yeah, right. A giraffe with a really short neck.
If you describe oh wait, here is it,
Oh, I don't know. I think they're still figuring it out here.
He doesn't have the mic on yet.
He doesn't. He's in his hand. He's getting ready. All right.
Oh, I think this one's gonna be a more dramatic one.
This one does seem like they're trying to
I like it when
overload
they go
things.
crazy. When they-
Yeah.
none of this dizzy whipping and
Dizzy
circles
whipping? No
action.
dizzy whipping? They're still discussing they're kind of discussing what happened at the previous table. And Oz he's thinking. He's considering. All right.
He's got it. Here
He's
it
got
comes.
it. Here comes the mic.
So we're doing another narrative event over here on my favorite table because it has the crazy Authentic wagon on it.
Yeah, Authentic
And
wagon.
you have a model standing right near these horses that have been so calm and patient this entire game.
Because they're blighted
What do you wanna do?
horses.
I'm going to drive the carriage
had a lot
into
of
the
hay.
tower.
Oh, we're driving the
Okay,
carriage.
so then Authentic, for you
Yeah,
guys out
Authentic
there that
wagon
don't know,
into
is
the
the
tower.
Heartstone of a dragon.
I don't know if it's still in there.
So there's a whole dragon in there, and magically
There's a whole
held by this
dragon in there,
thingy and
according
lightning
to-
flying around on it.
It can become a
This
whole
is
dragon.
a giant.
No,
tower
he said
of
there's a
alchemical
whole
goo.
dragon in there.
So
he
these
is-
two things are going to
he is
react in a
technically
weird way. And we're going to say
Torek
that,
is also just his authentic.
excuse me, that ruptures the tower, and sprays shoot out of it, and every single player gets to make a
Oz
spray
does
attack
sound like
out
a
of the
pro
tower.
wrestler threatening his rival. He's a little rough.
So you get to go first.
All right. So apparently,
they're gonna
wait, did
be
the chair
rat-
get destroyed? I missed that part.
We'll make yours
or
rat
did you
6.
just drive in?
I'm not sure.
We'll make all theirs rat 4, because this is your narrative token, and they'll be POW 10. Okay, so from the base of a tower, anywhere you want, spray attack.
All right,
And
and the sprays go.
That's narrative company of Iron.
I like his every time. He's like,
Narrative, Company of Iron, trademark.
oh, the wagon's not going
Oh.
to move. Not going to
Oh,
move
'cause it-
the horses aren't attached.
I see.
They're separate.
Delusion would be destroyed.
Yeah.
But so the idea is the wagon is coming smashing into the tower, and then stuff is spraying out of it, I think.
So,
just imagining him like just picking up the whole thing and just throwing it in the air.
I mean, to be fair, Archer built that for the that was the wagon we used for the no quarter, the climax of our Office League.
That's right.
Battle of the Authentic. And Archer's not here anymore. Just smash it.
Yeah,
I love it. He just got out a sledgehammer.
We will break all you have
and
done.
that's Narrative Company of Iron.
Or he could just crush it in the Iron Gauntlet.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, why not? I'd punch it with the Iron Gauntlet. That'd probably work better.
Yeah, that would be better.
I just want to see parts fly everywhere. So, a whole dragon in that tiny box.
Well, the idea is that if you have an Authentic, it will turn into a dragon.
Yeah, but he said a whole dragon. He didn't say there's
that's
the potential for a whole dragon.
But I'm just saying that is the dragon. Technically, the Authentic is the dragon.
Uh-huh.
The
part, alien terraform device
yes,
that is a dragon.
The part with like claws and teeth and stuff. That's just the vehicle for the Authentic.
So here's a question: if a dragon really wanted to, does it have to look like a dragon then?
I don't.
Could it just create its own body however it wanted?
Well, there's an interesting case study of that with the Chimera.
Right, the confused dragon,
the strangely mind scrambled dragon we have in the Abyss. There's an island, a plateau near the Abyss where there was a dragon living close to where the Bridge of Worlds that the elves made.
The elves made.
They made their cool Bridge of Worlds to bring the gods over that exploded and destroyed
disastrously.
Destroyed the entire continent. There was a dragon like hanging out nearby, like watching.
Just watching.
And he was
like, what's going to happen?
It's like, I wonder how this is going to
sure
go.
The dragon isn't the one who destroyed the bridge?
Well, there was something that went wrong that nobody quite understands.
Yeah.
But either way, it didn't work to his benefit. Because
Right.
then his Authentic actually got like, it's one of the few cases we've shown of an Authentic being permanently damaged in such a way that the Chimera can't remember what he is anymore and just kind of is like this ever mutating, like changing body.
Right.
And
Doesn't the Chimera also like feast on desert hydra and mammoths and such?
Yeah, and it can like turn parts of itself into other creatures. And so I do think there's the potential that the dragons could look like something else. They just really like they they think dragons look cool.
I mean, to be fair, dragons are pretty awesome.
Cool. So I think that's probably considered the ultimate form. Like, this was their ideal form. But we don't know a whole lot about like what's going on inside Torik's head.
Right.
But we do know the Authentic is the dragon.
I see.
In a way of speaking. So I think in that box there is a dragon.
There's a dragon and
or there might have been. I'm not sure if it's still in there.
It sounds like it's still in there.
Maybe they put another one in there.
They put another
one
in there?
Well, because we know that in Wrath of the Dragon Collar, which you should also buy.
Yeah.
So we resolve what happened with the Authentic.
We did resolve what happens to the wagon.
And the Authentic.
There's a big train battle.
Yes, and that specific Authentic wound up somewhere.
It
I
did.
don't know if I want to spoil that in the feed,
no.
but that Authentic did have an end.
That book has dragon battle.
Yes.
It's got all of the
badass.
dragons fighting everywhere.
Yes. So, but once you have it, like I have to imagine, like somebody, like probably some junkers or some gobbers, like that wagon was still lying there probably.
They just rebuilt it.
They rebuilt it. Maybe grab another Authentic. Put it in there.
Maybe they just like if it's gobbers, they probably just put their most prized junk in the box.
They're like, junk in the box.
This is really important to us. Let's make it safe.
That's actually kind of a fun idea of just there being something in there. That would be kind of a fun RPG scenario setup where they have this crazy, powerful artifact that's super hard to get into, but what is inside is not anything
garbage.
Cool. But like you could have it where like it's almost like the containment device is more valuable than anything you could put in it, because like you could use it for stuff probably.
Well, I mean, it was designed to
keep energies out.
To keep blighted energy in, to not allow a dragon to grow.
I think there's some
pretty
cool
powerful
stuff.
things.
There's some cool stuff you could do with that thing.
So it's good enough to hold your nuts and bolts collection.
Right.
Your most prized nuts and bolts.
Your favorite dagger.
Yeah. Let's be honest. If it's a gobber dagger, it's probably bent.
Look,
it doesn't have a very sharp edge.
I don't like your racism, because there's lots of good gobber daggers.
This is just true.
No, it is not true.
There's another story. There's gobbers. All right. I don't remember who wrote it. I think it might have been Howard Taylor, and it was about gobbers playing poker after a battle.
Yes.
And it talks about what gobbers value. And they value junk.
That is not necessarily true.
They value junk.
Here's what they do. They take junk and make it cool.
No. They value junk based on the story that's applied.
This is an erroneous interpretation.
I feel like if you go read that story.
I read the story. I helped him with it.
I don't know that you read the story.
That is a few gobbers that specifically
So
here's no, but
these
let
are
me
lesser gobbers?
No, let me explain the whole
Okay.
situation. There is, for example, like you might have seen this. This was a meme on the internets.
Mm-hmm.
There was somebody who made like a workable knife out of tinfoil. Like he took layers of
Right.
aluminum foil
Sure.
and forged it into an actual knife
Yep.
that worked.
Yep.
And it was actually pretty cool. That's the gobber ideal.
I
is you
see.
take something they do collect junk,
Right.
but then you turn it into something cool, and maybe it's still
Or more junk. I feel like what gobbers do is what my children do, which is they collect a bunch of junk, and they're like, we're going to make something great out of it. And then what they make is just junk stuck to junk.
There's always a spectrum.
And then I'm like, look at all this junk that you
look.
just stuck on junk. And they're
There's-
like, but I made this thing. And I'm like, it's still junk.
there's a spectrum. Okay, so like there's a million gobbers, right? Some of them are better at making.
Is this monkeys and typewriters?
No,
Is
no,
this
no,
what
no,
we're
no.
going with?
No.
If enough gobbers have enough junk.
I'm trying to get you out of your racist mind state.
I don't think it's
No,
racist.
it is, because here's the thing: some gobbers are not as good at this as others. Some of them maybe they just get by, like they put
Sure.
some stuff together. They're able to get by.
Right.
They do what they need to do. But there's some genius gobbers. There's some really good gobbers that are badasses at taking junk and making cool stuff out of it.
Okay.
And I think if they got the Authentic wagon, that's probably a pretty cool
The
gobber.
genius gobbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, we have some good gobber characters that have some cool stuff. So that's all I'm saying.
I feel like we're really stretching here. We're really stretching to make
No.
gobbers junk.
Gobbers have been maligned for years.
Have they been maligned?
Yeah. By certain people on the staff, like Jason Souls.
I see. There's
that are
some intrinsic gobber hatreds and dislike.
I feel like the gobbers have been getting a bum rap. And so I want people to understand gobbers.
Well-
Gobbers can also be artisans. They can
Can
be.
they?
Yes.
Can they really?
Quality craftsmen.
I don't think this is true.
It is absolutely
There's
true.
nowhere in downtown Stignar that you're going to go in the fancy Ritchie district that's going to be owned by a guy who's going to be like gobber jewelry.
No, there is.
Because you know what it's going to look like? It's just going to look like junk.
No, but here's the thing: junk is sometimes stylish. Like you make a nice set of earrings out of like some springs with like some cool little like, metal cubes on there, and then soon it's all the rage.
It's not. No.
in the rich districts in Five Fingers. I'm telling you.
In Five Fingers?
There's a rich district in Five Fingers where some people are wearing some gobber jewelry. I guarantee it.
All right.
We just need to get some artists on that. So what's going on in this game, though?
People are dying. Things are happening. I'm not really sure. Looks like our scores remain the same.
So what do we have here? We got this is our minions force.
Yes. So this would be. I think this was the Protectorate table.
These guys are holding on better than I thought they would. Like I wasn't expecting them to.
I mean, they're zombies. They're fishman zombies.
Well, and speaking of gobbers, we have some badass gobbers with
No,
some guns that can shoot a lobster claw, grab somebody from across the table, pull them in.
No, they pull themselves in.
Well, either way, it works.
These are walking punchlines. This is what they are. They're just like, look.
I want to see you make a useful implement out of a lobster claw.
Turn yourself. Effectively, what happened was these people saw the awesome Crick's ghost bullets, and they were like, "How do we do this on the cheap?" And they're like, "You know what? There's a lot of gobbers, and we have these lobster claws. Like, let's just have them grappling hook each other into each other."
I will admit that the lobster claw is probably not the best device to use there. I know they don't all have lobster claws because like some of them have other things on there.
I mean, sure, like forks and such.
Is it a fork?
It might be. It's kind of tined instrument to like stick in and zip along.
Sure.
There's not a whole lot of models left on the table here, so we've got to be getting close.
Yeah, like and we heard Oz say earlier that the last survivor on a table that
Scores an
extra
point.
point.
Yeah. A bonus point. All right. Well, I mean, we're still here answering questions. So, chat, if you have more questions that you want to hear us ramble and argue about, you feel free to ask.
Slaughter Cult 4 is asking about upcoming books. I don't think we have anything specific on that front that we can get into right now.
So we don't have any new books, but we do have some pretty awesome news on the audio book front.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's very true. That's actually really exciting. The Wicked Ways has been produced into a cool
audio
movie,
drama.
A movie in your mind.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what is the name of the company,
the thing. The thing.
I'm blanking on the name of it right now.
John, quick. Tony, you're not John. You failed me.
Well, I know Getz is going to be taking over for me in
Yeah.
a moment, and he knows for sure. But the main point is, it's a different kind of Audible experience than what we've
It's
done
not like
before.
an audiobook, right? It's an audio play.
It's actually like it's like a radio drama. It's really cool. Like I had a chance to listen to the first story of The Wicked Ways, and they have like full-on professional actors in each role. They have sound effects. And it was really fun. Like I wasn't sure how it would sound, but it really
they're
it
designed
really
for
impressed
long
me.
road trips, so you can't watch TV, but you want to listen to something.
Yeah.
And,
It's really cool.
It's
Like-
a full like voice cast. They like you said, they do all the sound effects, so they don't just narrate. Like they don't narrate. You hear the clang of battle. Like you hear.
Yeah, you hear like clanging and like you hear the cat, which cracked me up. Like we have a cat as a significant
What's the cat's
character.
name? I can't
Artist.
remember.
Artist after
yeah,
one
Artist,
of the moons.
I'm looking right now. I'm going to find the name of this place. Graphic Audio
Graphic
is the name.
Audio,
Graphic
right.
Audio.
And it's a production of Wicked Ways, but
Yes.
I know they're going to be doing some other stuff in the near future too.
And lock and load attendees and such right now have gotten access to the first chapter that you talked about from Wicked Ways, which is
it's
the
really
first
fun.
launch. They're doing a whole host of the books, though.
Yeah, I
And
think we've got several more books lined up. I don't think we've officially announced them yet, but we are going to be doing more books in that format, and we're trying to prioritize the books that we hadn't done as an audiobook already before.
Murder in Corvus is actually one that they're working on
cool.
right now.
Yeah.
So if you want to listen to a cool audio drama mystery
Yeah. I
featuring
think
our favorite Black River regulars.
I was really impressed. Like all the voice acting was really well done, and I quite enjoyed the sort of Foley sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we've also mentioned that there's going to be a CCAT story collection in the near future. And that includes some stories that have never been printed before. Man, yeah, there's definitely way less models on the table here on the IOSN board.
Our Hunter 85, when will the Manowar Chariot be released? It should be available on the online store, I think, post lock and load. So they shipped out. So you should see that online through the Black Anchor Industries label. Catalyst 1C wants to know, what would the dwarves think of ghost ships rolling by?
I don't think they'd like it.
I don't think that they'd really care.
Well, no, we've actually talked, like, there are armed dwarven boats on Lake Armsteep. We have, like, and there are dwarven fishermen. I know you're going to find this very unlikely, but there are.
Well, I
you
mean,
think of dwarves as just being living
if they're
underground
under the
or
water,
whatever.
I mean, if they're in submarines, fishing
they're
underwater.
They're on the surface of the lake, sailing their
I never
boats
said
around.
that those dwarves didn't exist. I said that those dwarves are viewed as lesser dwarves by the underground dwarves.
That is not at all the
They're
case.
sub-dwarves.
Sub-dwarves.
They're
'cause
sub-dwarves.
No, the dwarves have no problem being above the surface. They are also sometimes comfortable living below, but they don't have to. Our dwarves are not always underground like you would see in some other worlds. But I do think, by and large, they would
I feel
frown
like-
upon ghost ships
Like
on Lake
dwarven
Armsteep.
society, I feel like, is the inverse of human society. Like, the richer you get, the higher on the hill you go. Like with dwarves,
It's not
the
true.
richer you get, the
That's
further
not true.
underground
Their
you go.
gods made a
That's just
tower
how it
to
works.
be as high as possible.
They built a mountain so that they could live in it underground.
They excavated a mountain to turn into a tower. There was the mountain Gore, which had enslaved the Great Fathers and had been abusing them. And so the Great Fathers, to defeat this malevolent mountain god,
They made a tower?
They took its innards and mined them out to create the tallest tower that had ever been seen. And that is the symbol of the dwarven gods. So being high is not bad.
What happened
for
to
a
this
dwarf.
tower?
It's in Urkane somewhere.
It's an Urkane tower now?
It always has been. This was in Urkane. Like there's a mountain in Urkane.
It's a mountain in Urkane.
Yeah, you know.
I see.
And then they crossed over, made the clay wives.
Yeah.
Had kids, made some dwarves,
And then went back to Urkane?
and then they went back. Yeah.
Did they go back or did they
went,
die?
No, they went back.
Oh, they went back.
Yeah, they went back. And they're
So
hanging
in
out
other
there.
words, the dwarves make ghost bridges that work, and the elves can't do anything right.
Well, one of the thoughts is that maybe it was easier to come and go back then, because like there's sort of a suggestion that like Menoth used to like
Come and go,
be
sure,
on
yeah.
the world. And so at some point, like the barriers between the worlds became thicker.
It was probably the elves' fault.
It
with their
certainly-
bridge.
They probably are going to blame humans,
Nah, it's their fault.
but it could be their
I
fault.
mean, I think it's their fault. It sounds to me like the elves are
The
those
elves did
unruly,
some
like
messed up stuff.
they're the unruly 20-year-olds that won't take responsibility for anything.
Well, and we have talked about them being kind of spoiled children. You know, in we've talked about like Menoth being sort of an absentee parent who just kind of let his kids do
Well,
whatever.
he didn't care for a while.
Yeah, he just didn't even notice that they were
Yeah.
there.
And then he came back.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Wait, hey, you guys need to obey me."
Nah, but he didn't really do it out of altruism. He was like, "Oh wait, these guys
This
could be useful.
This could be useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like the elves were the reverse. Like the elven gods gave the elves everything too early. Like they weren't ready for all that yet. They weren't ready to build a god bridge yet, I don't think.
Right.
Although, like you said, maybe that dragon had something to do with it.
I feel like he did.
I think there's it seems likely.
All
that
right.
there
I
could
would
be a
like to
problem.
take this moment to confirm that the Scorn are failed elves.
I don't think that is correct. We have never established that anywhere.
I know. I want to confirm it right now. We just established it right now. The Scorn,
There
first attempt, failed elves.
there was
Just
a theory.
Swept off.
There was a cosmological theory that could be the case, that the Scorn were some kind of like rough draft.
Yeah.
But I don't think that has ever been
I
legitimized
mean, look at the
or
Scorn.
authorized.
If they came out of your god oven and you're like, I'm gonna make something, like they're the ugly, ruined, like
again,
they're the Tinder or the.
This seems like something
They're the
that-
Pinterest fail cake.
this seems like a story the elves would come up with,
Like all
not
of,
one that the Scorn.
I
would
can see
come
all
up
of the elven gods. They're looking around. They're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do today?" They see all these Pinterest posts of Menoth and his people, and,
Well, and the Trollkin.
dwarves,
The
and
Trollkin were out
Trollkin.
there,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got all this great stuff. They're like, "We're gonna do that."
Yeah.
And then they took the recipe and they totally screwed it up. They pulled it out.
First try,
and they're
didn't
like, hashtag Pinterest fail. And they just threw it in the garbage.
and that became the Scorn.
And that became the Scorn. Those are the Scorn.
That is a theory.
The
that-
Scorn,
that I-
hashtag Pinterest fail.
I think that is probably an Iosin or a Liosin theory.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have anything to support it.
Mm.
But, you know, it's an interesting theory. I'll go that far. That one would show. That would be a good one for the conspiracy theory.
The conspiracy
lecture,
theory board?
which we did
The
last
murder
time.
board?
Yeah, we didn't renew the conspiracy theory hangout this year, but that is something I would like to return.
That's because
to.
we were too close to the truth. To be
yeah,
honest.
that's right. Too
That's
close.
why I got
to the
canceled.
truth. So it looks like we have some shifting stones doing some dramatic stuff here.
We got shifting stones and those
Some-
crossbow guys.
Some
Reeves.
Reeves
Reeves
of
of Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
The Opportunist still in the lead. Still in the lead.
Yeah, and I think there were two different circle players and they were both defenders. Oh, we do have a defender.
I mean, there's nobody left on this board.
I guess the defenders have been at 3 for a while though. They had the early lead, and then
I think our main board has been cleaned of folk.
It does look sad. So it looks like the opportunist rally has kind of taken this game over.
Wait, I thought
Just listening in on what's going on over there. at the
figuring out
tables.
like which table this is on. This is the Authank table, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it is.
Oh, you might be right because we have that swampy.
Yeah, because it got the
terrain.
swamp and
Okay.
it's got the big trees.
Yeah, this has been one of the more dramatic tables during the game. It's been a lot of fun action with that train. I feel like we needed to have like a more mobile element on the Iosin table because it seemed like they weren't interacting with the terrain as much as I had hoped.
I mean, it took them forever to drive the Authank wagon.
Yeah, it's true.
I would have put my gobber on there
Yeah,
and just
get
driven
it-
it around
yeah, get it
all
going
over
right
the
away.
table.
I'm really surprised somebody didn't try to like break the Authank box open, you know.
And
Just to get
unleash
some
the dragon.
Yeah, just to unleash some havoc.
I like it. Nibs the dragon.
And I think that was the table where the Northkin were too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, the Northkin were on the they were on the train table.
Oh.
Because the bear handler decided to
You're
go
right.
joyriding in the.
I'm mixing up the train table and the Authank wagon
Yes.
table.
Yeah. So this is the Authank table.
Yeah, you're right.
And looks like it's mostly circle versus minions at this point.
It looks like that's Hearn and John, so we still have some Merc forces left.
Yeah, a little bit.
What is that closest to the tower on the right? Is that a swamp gobber?
On the right? Yeah, you got,
it's a
you got
swamp
swamp gobbers, and then I'm trying to figure out what the model is next to the objective.
Well, I think I'm going to transition out and put Getz in my place.
Oh, all right. So now we
it's
can
been good
actually
talking
have
to
the
you
real
guys.
truth.
Hey, this was a form of truth. We're each a form of truth.
Very philosophical there, Doug. Very philosophical. How you doing, Mr. Gatz?
Oh, Doug's ears were so sweaty. He was right.
It's just moist in there, isn't it?
It is.
It's so moist.
It's like that swamp gobber.
Because he was getting really nervous about all the hard biting questions I was asking him.
Oh, yeah?
I was demanding information. That's just not true.
A lot of
First
shit
of all,
racism?
He calls the fact that I astutely said that gobbers collect junk
Okay.
and are only capable of making junk from their junk.
Well, that's where you cross the line.
Is it?
They're
Is it
capable
really?
of making stuff from their junk.
It's still junk.
I mean, no argument there.
See?
Also,
See?
I
how
don't
it
know
works.
if the audience can hear Oz right now, but he sounds like a spooky
They've
witch.
heard him a couple of times, but no, they can't hear him right now. But yes, Oz has been talking a lot.
Yeah.
Oz doesn't normally talk a lot.
No.
He has gone, I like Spooky Witch. He's gone full on Spooky Witch.
Full-on
We're
Spooky
on
Witch.
camera now.
Hey,
Hi.
we're back on camera.
Yeah.
This
So-
is my second time today.
I know. You've missed a lot.
Apparently I
don't
have.
quite know what, because mostly Doug and I were just arguing about various IK-related trivia.
We could do that.
I know. I think we're just going to
I
continue
feel
on.
more qualified to do that than to comment on this sprawling
This
game.
sprawling game of narrativeness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what we need from Twitch and our viewers is we need more questions. We need more things to debate,
Wait,
to talk about and argue.
what would the dwarves think of the ghost ships?
Oh yeah,
rolling
you
by?
missed this. So
Like in their lake?
yeah. So the Crixians called in a bombardment,
Okay.
which of course blew Doug's mind because he's like, we're supposed to be in like maybe Lael and it's landlocked, and I was like, but you're not counting the ghost ships. The ghost ships can go anywhere.
Well,
They're
Scar's
ghost
boat
ships.
can go anywhere, and that's
Exactly. So yeah. So then we talked about ghost ships, and then he described how the ghost ships would come in
Right.
through the Rulik Sea, the lake, whatever it is.
Lake Armendor. It's
Yeah.
not a sea.
Well,
It's just a
body
big
of water, sure.
Like you wouldn't call Lake Erie a sea.
I mean, you should.
You should.
Yeah.
It's super eerie,
Yeah.
hence the name.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they're
So
coming through.
yeah, so they came through, and so then chat was wondering about, what would the dwarves think of this? And I mean, honestly, they wouldn't like it.
Yeah, it'd probably be like, oh, I'm staying indoors today.
Maybe
Screw that.
underground.
Screw the ghost ship
Yeah,
rolling over
yeah,
my
the
house.
ghost ship just coming through. But it's a ghost ship, it doesn't matter.
So I see the opportunists are up to 4 points.
Yes, they have scored 4 points, maybe more, because Tony is now.
Oh, what are you changing?
He's tapping some things. We've got a couple of tables, I think, that are completely wrapped up. So is this our last table, Tony?
No, I think there's 2 more.
So there's 2 tables left that are going.
Okay. So it feels appropriate that the people who are just coming in to grab stuff and run out are winning right now.
Yeah, no, they've definitely they've gotten some sweet sauce.
Yeah, I was worried because the defenders were really high up at the beginning.
They were. They kept the lead for quite a while, and then all of a sudden the opportunities just kind of swept over them.
Exploiting the opportunity. Like,
yes.
Again, it's
yes.
appropriate.
Opportunist. I'm waiting for the wild cards to totally throw a wrench in the works by joining with the defenders and causing a tie.
So would you allow somebody to use their narrative token to just have their army move to a different table?
Yeah. We were talking about, I think, an idea you had, which was that the tower on the circle table would get teleported
Yeah.
through the ley lines to another table so that the rest of them could just look at each other and be like, well, I guess we're still going to kill each other, but there's no reason for it.
There's never really a great reason for it.
There's a tower.
There's
I mean,
a tower. Oh, man, I want that
At
tower.
least they have a justification, unlike just pure, hatred,
That's true.
which is rife in the Iron Kingdoms. Like, they're like, oh, you're not me. I have to murder you.
That was what our whole keynote was about.
Basically, yes, it was.
So I was talking to Pagani earlier. Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like we're in like a Cessna or a helicopter?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you feel like we're in a Cessna or a helicopter wearing these headsets?
I like to imagine that we are in a helicopter. And this is the last game now, so
Okay.
all of our games have wrapped up except for this one.
And do we have all 4 players still representing?
I
or is it
believe
just
so.
down to 3?
Maybe. I don't know.
Somebody needs to get Oz a larynx transplant. This is painful.
He's pretty rough. We have 3 players left on this
3
table.
players left on this
vying
table. Okay.
for control. Dragging
the
it out,
wild cards
tooth
were
and
so
nail.
wild that they just left the game?
Yes, they were done. I'm telling you, the wild cards just need to take their point, put it in the opportunist camp, be like Kingmaker.
Yeah, there you go. Also, it's good to know we're actually at a convention because there's a picture of Deadpool.
Yeah,
If
that's
there's
true.
no Deadpool appearance,
Oh, is that the rule?
We're not at a convention yet.
I see. He's coming out of that man's pocket.
Is there actually a pocket on that
No.
T-shirt? Man, I'm
Just
so
drawn on
disheartened.
pocket. I know. It's one of those pocket shirts. Fake pocket.
It's like camouflage adaptation, like the lizards that have eyes on their tail. Muggers will come, try and steal stuff out of his pocket, but there's no pocket there.
There's no pocket. I mean, there's a Deadpool in his pocket.
This is the kind of hard-hitting commentary that people have come to expect.
I mean, at this point, there's not much left to discuss.
We could just do like, oh, he moved a guy.
Now you've listened to the
The Battle of Borsgate?
No. But yes, I've blanked on the name again. Our new audio drama company, Graphic Audio. Yeah, Graphic Audio. You've listened to their stuff. What did you think? We talked about that.
You know, I really enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for old like radio dramas, like The Shadow.
Yeah.
So being able to hear performance of Wicked Ways in that format was just a trip to me.
Great Foley artists and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you hear lots of weird cat meowing. But it's kind of strange because these are stories that we wrote internally with the authors around the building. And to hear these professional actors like really digging into the material, I felt so inauthentic at that moment. I'm like, oh, guys, no, you don't need to try that hard. It's just us. But they really put it into it. I've gotten to listen to more than just the Wicked Ways.
Yeah, we talked about how Murder in Corvus is the next one on the way.
Yeah, Murder in Corvus. I'm going through my listen through on that right now. Gardeck sounds interesting because they did like some post processing on his voice. And he's like really deep voice. It's just.
I feel like they should just get Oz right now to be Gardeck. You know?
Dude, no. Oz is the old witch right now.
Oh, I don't know if he's scratchy enough. I feel like the old witch is
like a really withered Grimkin monster of some kind.
I could see that. Sure.
Like if we had a Rawhead Rex but a Grimkin, that's what Oz sounds like. It's like he's gargling a sack full of rocks.
Oh, it's tough. Poor Oz. Graphic
Talk
audio.
about graphic audio, yeah. I saw somebody shake hands and walk off. Does that mean that we had
We might have.
surrender over there?
Well, this is our last table, so maybe.
Oh, we got somebody who's wiped out?
So one player has been knocked out.
Oh, Liberators just jumped up to 4. Interesting.
The wild card is truly a wild card at this point. I mean, if the wild card can't give their points to whoever they choose, then we've done something horribly wrong.
Yeah, because their name is wild
Right.
card. They should be mixing it up for
They
us.
should be. They
as
should
well
be.
as
It's
everybody else.
throwing it wherever they want.
See, but they would probably just give it to the defenders to make it a 3-way tie.
I mean, that would be hilarious.
That would
Nobody gets to win.
No one wins.
The status quo remains.
And through that, the wild cards ultimately
All right.
win.
So I need you to confirm another thing that Doug was very dodgy about.
All right.
The Scorn are just the Pinterest fail of the Elven gods.
So Doug has actually discussed this with me more than once, where it's sort of like if you want to get into sculpture, you don't really know what you're doing the first time, so you just kind of slap some mud on the wheel and spin it around, and you get what you get. And the Scorn are sort of that. They're like a rough draft phase, you know? Not exactly there. They still had some problems.
Yeah.
Like the weird sagittal ridge
Right.
and all that. The feeding on pain.
I think they just weren't in the god oven long enough. Like, they didn't use enough baking soda,
Yeah,
and then they kind of undercooked them,
sure.
you know?
That's why they don't have
And,
hair.
There's probably not enough egg.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there wasn't enough binder
Not
in
enough
the batter.
emulsifier.
Yeah, and so effectively they got this thing out, and they were just like, hashtag Pinterest fail, and they tossed it away, and then they tried again later.
It's like the It's Something meme.
Yeah.
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 No, so Doug will probably deny it in public, but 100% yes.
Yeah, no, he denies it tooth and nail.
I know.
But it's the truth. There's zero question.
Of course. like, think about all the different steps. All of the gods, they were throwing things in there, and there's just a whole court of them. So it's a too many cooks situation, too. It's like, oh, I really like butterscotch chips.
Right.
Nobody likes butterscotch chips.
Put those in. Put them in.
No, you can't have butterscotch chips and rainbow M&Ms in the same cookie.
Oh, somebody put raisins in there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were like, raisins. More raisins. Look, Doug, nobody likes raisins.
The Nis Arcir of Autumn's like, I really like almonds. Can we have something natural in here? No, stop it. Stop poisoning us with your almonds. That's why the Scorn hate you. Our audio crew is not.
We've broken John now. He doesn't really understand what the almonds thing is, but, you understand it. We'll get some pointing, some dramatic pointing.
Oh, that was like bow pointing.
Wow. Well, yeah, Oh, we got some John Cena, you can't see me. Do, 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 do.
I really hope that's the narrative token, is just you can't see this.
That'd be great. I mean, we've seen some crazy narrative stuff. We saw a cask imp take a huge swig from the water tower's alchemical stuff.
Okay.
And then leap off the roof.
Nice.
And explode like a Grimkin atom bomb.
I didn't get to see anything quite that cool. I did see.
I thought you saw the train drive. Were you there?
I saw the train drive over some stuff, but it could have hit more people.
So we saw the gremlins take over the train. Then a Northkin bear handler
also
fumbled his
train?
way through the train controls.
Nice.
Managed to reverse it into the caboose, which exploded.
Nice.
It's been a dramatic narrative event here.
I like the termite husk that I saw earlier.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
So
didn't even hear about it.
Bokor died, and his last act was to turn himself into a husk, who then
Nice.
died later.
Yeah, well, this is what a husk does. We got a new Iron Kingdom's product called Ghost Sauce.
Ghost Sauce?
Yeah, apparently the Cauldron Master got his cauldron up to the water tower on his side and filled it up more and more and more with the alchemical mixture to make a delicious new ghost sauce.
Is that like a peri-peri or?
I'm not really sure. The flavor profile, Doug's convinced that it has tannins in it.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Are they soaking oak cubes in it? Or?
I don't really know. It wasn't. The profile was never explained sufficiently.
Okay, so I have a question for you about lore in the IK. Who's the first one to develop nuclear power?
The first one, in the future?
In the IK, who's going to develop nuclear power?
Oh man,
who's the Oppenheimer?
I feel like Signar's already jumped past that with their electricity all the time thing.
Yeah, but they don't have a nuke. They don't have nuclear weapons.
I know. I think honestly it's gonna be Khador. Like if anyone disregards safety and protocol the most to get to the point where you're like, we're irradiating the world, nobody cares.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Khador.
It's gonna be Khador.
But I feel like the dragons are already nuclear weapons.
Well,
they blight everything. Nothing grows right. Mutations happen.
Pseudo-nuclear. But I mean, deliberately, you get some guys in a room with chalkboards. And
blow
when
it up.
we leave, we're going to have the worst device that's ever been invented by anyone. You're saying Khador?
Definitely Khador. I mean, zero question.
Okay.
You think of all the other factions, I feel like Khador has the least to work with.
Well,
they're just they're very basic. I think basic people.
They're still holding on to the fact that they built the train first.
Exactly. They don't have much to go off of. So, like Crix, they probably already thought of it, and they were just like, meh, we can do better.
Yeah.
We've got better options.
Ghost bombs.
For mass destruction.
Yeah.
Ghost bullets, yeah. And then you got Signar, and they're like, well, we could do that, but it's pretty basic. Let's amp it up.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make a neutron bomb. They're just going to jump ahead. They're going to make a neutron bomb.
Right.
You got the Protectorate.
They're still using crossbows. Let's be fair.
Yeah, that's just, it's not magical enough for them. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So it's got to be Khador. It's got to be Khador.
So I do like that because Khador has kind of always been first on making stuff and last in getting credit because they had the first Colossal, right?
It's true.
They had the steam engine. They had the train.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that they've had trains in the IK for 1,500 years.
Well, the Orgoth set some things back.
Yeah, some things.
Trains were one of them.
So Orgoth were just like, wizards, guns, and trains. These are the three things we hate.
Yeah.
We hate wizard trains with guns.
Yes.
I think that we need some innovators.
Like in Khador?
In general.
Well, I mean,
the railless is the first major leap forward.
You've got the railless, and then they barely even rested on the Rayless's laurels before they were like, hey, take a Warjack and stick it on top of a Rayless.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you got the Vulcan. So, like, clearly the Golden Crucible, they've got no ties to anything.
Yeah, but with the Vulcan, does that mean that the Crucible Guard has to build a lot of ramps? Like, how does it get upstairs?
They just avoid the stairs?
They just go through?
Yeah.
They just demolish the
Hey,
building
it's got a
around
huge
the
cattle
stairs?
guard on it. I mean,
That's
just-
true.
Just bash through. Plus, like, are you going to bring the Vulcan when you're like, oh, we got to climb this tower? Get the Vulcan. No.
I would bring the Vulcan everywhere. It's got a lab on its back.
The Vulcan also,
It has
like,
2 flamethrowers. Why wouldn't you bring that?
I mean, I feel like, it's,
John is over there just wildly
But
gesticulating with finger guns.
I
It's
don't know
great.
what's happening. It's very strange.
Sprays? Is that what you're saying? I can't hear you, but I can see you gesturing.
I mean, the Vulcan's whole like premise was that it was the chemical factory from the 1980s Batman movie.
Like Ace?
Yeah, like Ace Chemicals. Like, it's just a foul pollutant that destroys everything it touches.
Do you think Captain Planet would be down with the Crucible
No,
Guard?
he would not.
He would not be down.
I'm pretty sure that the Crucible Guard are the villains in Captain Planet.
So, what was his name? Like Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe? Or
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe?
No, they had terrible names, the villains.
Yeah, there was like the hog guy.
Yeah.
And there was like the sludgy lady. Her burned face.
Sludgy lady?
Yeah, her face was burned.
So you're saying that, like, Adolphus Morley is a villain.
There's zero question to me that, like, the Vulcan shows up as the villainous contraption, the overwrought contraption to pollute the world.
Right.
For reasons.
Right.
So that Captain Planet can come fight it.
So who wins? Who defeats the Vulcan first? The Planeteers or that bat from Fern Gully?
Oh, the bat was useless. I mean, it was
He
the
had
tiny,
a radar in his brain.
It was the tiny human.
It was the tiny human?
Batty the bat does not defeat the Vulcan.
I'm just so happy what's happening with our audio crew.
You have totally destroyed John's hope.
Oh, we're drawing a card. Look, the game.
Yeah. I mean, I would apologize for the lack of focus on the game itself, but I don't even know. I don't know what to do. I joined late.
I've only had little windows into this experience.
Oh, the tower has.
So it's just spewing clouds of fog.
So there's a cloud around the tower now, causing concealment that is going to grow every round. It sounds like.
If that cloud doesn't kill
Although
people,
round 5 would be the last round, wouldn't it?
It would.
I mean, in normal Company of Iron games, round 5, the end.
Oh, Oz looks pensive.
He's considering. He's considering. He's thinking about things.
I really want someone to shoot that tower.
Like with a gun?
With everything they've got.
I don't think they have a lot, though.
That tower is a blight on that swamp. So,
all right,
going through their cards. It's kind of challenging from this seat to see what's going on in the game right now.
You can see right there. Look, we have the whole thing.
We do have the whole thing, but I'm looking over here.
Well,
it's
look
the two
over
monitor
here.
situation
I mean,
again.
You got to look at the full monitor. This is what's going on.
I feel like after the Planeteers and Batty the Bat, this is probably my last commentary.
I don't know. I've like the Brent War Machine Weekend commentary.
Yeah.
The Brent Dallas combo is probably it's a low point and the highest point of commentary in general.
I really miss yours and Simon's final commentary.
Oh
together.
yeah, well Simon's final commentary from Lock and Load. What was that? 2016. Tony tells me it's 2016, which you can view on our YouTube channel, where organized play developer William Hungerford played a game against one of our community members. I had to write quite the apology note afterwards
to Hungerford
to be like, look,
Oh, somebody tried to play a reroll on another player's roll.
Reroll on a reroll. So we've clarified that rerolls can't be done on other people. But it could be, Oz. That's what you're missing out on.
It could be how it works.
Could be.
Especially in this game, of all games of Company
Of
of Iron.
all games. Of all possible games.
So have you noticed the Orgoth Tower there behind the water tower? You just see the
yeah,
horns
no,
sticking out.
I do appreciate. Well, Doug and I were talking about this earlier. It's like, what magical Golden Crucible salesman like went around to all these various locations and was like, you know what you need? You need a water tower.
See, I don't think he's selling them to these towns like a monorail.
I think that he is.
I
In
think
fact,
he's
that's
just
the
finding
exact. That was my exact comment. This is the monorail guy from The Simpsons coming in and being like, you need a water tower.
No, see, I think it's just
Shelbyville got a water tower.
Ogdenville, North Haverbrook, and that really put them on the map.
That's right.
No, but I think he was just buying up the cheapest land he possibly could, hence the Orgoth ruin-filled swamp.
Well, I mean, definitely a low-quality buy. He did get in Ios, though, which makes no sense. I mean, border security in Ios, falling apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Falling
They
apart.
let the Scorn in.
They didn't let the Scorn in. The Scorn fought their way in.
Well, they let him in.
No.
What are you talking about?
They didn't let them in.
They let him in.
No.
Okay, listen, if your entire defensive strategy for your nation is some warcaster of so low rank that we don't even know their name, like if that's the linchpin of your defensive strategy, you let the Scorn in.
I see. Oh, there goes a card.
Throwing a card. Oh, it looks like he's just discarding. Besides, that's probably
going on.
Probably ruins up by Assyria, where Everblight kind of like nuked the entire
just
town.
went around, and that's where he put his tower?
Well, yeah, because nobody
right
else
here?
is living there.
You still got to get in the borders. Like, that's within the borders of Ios.
Maybe the Sibyls were napping. They weren't doing their psychic prediction. They were just taking the day off. Maybe it was like the 4th of July weekend in Ios.
It's just taking the day off. Like, it doesn't matter. You think they'd realize that there's a water tower and, just hanging out.
We keep calling it a water tower, but there's no water in there. It's
the similar principle. I mean, that's how he sold it. It's not like he was like, "Look, let me put my alchemical juice tower in your backyard, Swamp Man." I mean, that guy probably said yes.
Yeah, I would.
He has no qualms. Look at his house. It's barely even together.
I mean,
he's got a sweet rocking chair though, and he has a
Do
broom.
I get to stand on top of it to look out across my parcel?
Oh my, that was spot on. I was taken there, and that's the kind of thing you could see from graphic audio.
If I look from up here, I can see where all the catsy fish are at.
Oh, there's no way they let him in the tower.
Oh, he's up that tower.
He's not in the tower. No,
you can't
no,
keep
no,
a
no.
swampy out of a tower.
No, he's not allowed in the tower at all.
He's built some sort of ladder out of like 4 dead willow trees. He's up there with a fishing rod like the kid on the DreamWorks logo.
Just thrown into that pond over there with the thing. Catching himself some carp.
Come and bite my bait, Snappy Turtle.
I don't know what's happening right now, but it's magical.
He's dynamite fishing off that thing.
He doesn't have dynamite.
What are all these logos about flammable and inflammable for?
That assumes he can read.
Well, no, he can see the symbol.
No, he doesn't know what that means. What is this Swampy's name? That's what we need.
Jasper.
Jasper the Swampy.
Jasper the Tower Fishing Swampy.
Now that is a man who has a theme song. Jasper, what is happening, Tony? What are you doing? What?
Tony, what are you doing?
You are failing at the selfie. Like, what? My head was in the way of my selfie. This entire show is broken down. Jasper, the Dynamite Fishing Swampy. That was his name, right?
Yeah,
the
well,
Dynamite
he was the
Fishing
Tower
Swampy?
Fishing Swampy.
Tower Fishing Swampy.
Yeah.
And
Some
Tony
people
trying to
sometimes
take.
blow up fish.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, this is what every day in the writing office sounds like. It's just me doing stupid
Why
voices.
You're so productive. is ready to go.
It's the same in the video booth? Yeah, I believe it.
Well, I'd like to say to any of our viewers who have maintained through this course of insanity all day, tomorrow you can expect a much more robust and focused commentary as we finish out the finals of Masters, starting at 9 a.m. and then moving on to the Iron Gauntlet first rounds, which we will finish up, I believe, on Sunday. So you can watch and see who claims the title of World Champion of War Machine and Hordes. Iron Painter as well is happening if you want to see more crazy nonsense. Will be on tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Iron Painter, we ask a lot of trivia questions from our audience.
I'm aware of that.
We demand painting excellence from our Iron Painter contestants who are tasked with painting a model. This one is a very special surprise model.
A surprise model?
Yes.
Can you tell me, or is it a surprise?
No, it's totally a surprise.
Oh.
Yes.
So can I participate in the trivia contest?
Yeah, why not? Wait, you can't win any prizes, though. You're ineligible.
Can I give other people my prizes?
No. You cannot get the prizes at all. You could be there. You just hang out and help them. A lot of times people get stumped.
Sure.
And you just be like, it's this.
See, I just want to throw out, like, wild card questions.
Oh. That's not what. I don't care. You want to ask questions? Ask questions.
Oh, can I?
I won't stop you.
You would want to stop me. The kinds of questions I have in mind, you would definitely
Are
want to
they
stop.
Iron Kingdoms related questions?
Oh, all of them.
All right. As long as they're about Jasper,
the Tower Fish
the Tower Fish and Swampy. I want your first question to be, what is the first verse of Jasper, the Tower Fish and Swampy's theme song?
Yeah.
And then just see if they make it up. You got it.
I mean, you heard it earlier. Sometimes people blow up a fish.
Sometimes people blow up a fish.
Sometimes people blow up a fish.
What if they don't?
Well, sometimes some people blow up a fish.
I know, but what if they don't?
It's in the song.
I get it, but what if they don't?
Well, then they would be doing it the part that isn't sometimes.
Right.
Because if sometimes you blow up a fish, most times you don't.
Most times you don't?
Yeah.
I feel like you need to try harder. What are these fish doing that they're able to avoid being blown up?
Swimming further away.
Wait, what? Who's stealing our Iron Gauntlet? Kiko's stealing the Iron Gauntlet. My gosh, Kiko. Apparently the Iron Gauntlet has been purloined.
Has it?
By that malicious Kiko running off with it. Although Hungerford's aiding and abetting right now. Just cruel.
I always knew that we should suspect him more.
Of what?
But aiding and abetting.
Petty larceny?
Yeah. That's not
absolutely.
petty. That's the Iron Gauntlet, sir.
That's true.
That's grand larceny.
Yeah, I don't want to apply grand to anything Hungerford related, though.
Oh, fair.
What?
What? We're punching
now
Will
I'm getting
Shipp with the Iron
punched in
Gauntlet?
the face? What is happening here? Why am I the victim of all of this violence? It's unfair. But yes, Iron Painter tonight, 7 p.m.
Are you hosting that?
I am.
Excellent.
It's going to be a zany good time.
What's your anticipation of how many people break down because of how they have to paint?
I mean, I always aim for at least 2 people.
2 out of
4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
If
So
I don't get
50%.
at least 50% of people looking at me like I just stepped on their puppy,
Yeah.
it's not worth it to me.
Don't step on puppies.
Well, I don't step on puppies. It's a metaphor.
It's metaphorical.
Yeah,
It's an allegorical puppy.
Yeah, it's an allegorical puppy stepping.
Okay.
Much like Jasper is the allegorical swampy fisherman of all of our souls.
Yeah. All of us have a little bit of Jasper deep down
Dude,
inside.
so many of us have Jasper deep down inside.
Okay. Real deal. If you wander across a tower in the middle of the swamp, are you or are you not climbing it?
I'm not going to climb it.
Why? You
Because-
are lying to me.
No, I am not lying to you. I'm sure that if it's in the swamp, one, it's going to be dilapidated and it's going to be rusty.
Sure.
It's going to be tetanus waiting to happen.
Sure.
I don't want to get MRSA.
You didn't have a childhood, did you?
I mean, I did, but Tony's writing.
Tony's right.
Ghosts? Is that a ghost or is that a CI? Is that Kios?
Ghosts? There are
Ghosts
ghosts
in the tower.
I mean, if
Don't
I
go
could-
in the tower. Just climb on the tower.
Yeah, get on top of it. Besides, if there are ghosts in the tower, that proves that there's something after all this, right? So that's worth the experience right there. People go into old insane asylums because there might be ghosts.
Yeah, but I mean, if all there is ghosts in a tower, is that
Imagine
really
what you could
wanna-
talk about.
Is that really what you want to know?
I mean, unless it's Jasper's ghost,
What
then
if
he's
they're
just
like,
going to talk about
that's-
dynamite fishing.
That's all there is. Like, you talk to the ghost, and he's just like, well, you know, when you die, you become a ghost, and you wind up in a tower.
Yeah,
That's
always
it.
in a tower.
We're just here. You have no control over who your ghost roommates are. It's just, you know. I feel like you're better off not knowing at that point.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to preserve the mystery?
Well, yeah.
Because that
if
preserves
all
the
it is
hope.
is ghosts in a tower,
You're
that's
just hanging
like-
out in a tower in the swamp all day?
that is not an uplifting motivational movie.
That's true.
Like, little Timmy finds his dad in a tower after a long childhood of loss because his dad was clearly killed by some kind of maniacal gremlin riding a severed hobby head horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
You stabbed him in the face.
Some of our finest characters have been
Yeah.
killed by maniacal gremlins.
So many of them have been killed by maniacal. Like, he finds him finally. There's this happy reunion, and he's just like, "Yeah, no, this is it."
Yeah.
There's
This is all you have to look
There's
forward
no
to.
Hurricane. There's no City of Man. There's no Morrow in place. There's not even a worm. There's not even a giant worm that eats you. There's just
A tower.
towers.
Just towers.
Ghosts and towers.
Ghosts and towers. I think I want you to write that story now.
I think that I believe that we have have ended in a tie. Have we ended in a tie? At 5-5? People are still measuring, so maybe there's still some battling going on.
There's a chance. Opportunists, liberators, coming down to the last two.
At this point, the wild card is the deciding factor here.
You checking chat to see if anybody's commenting?
I was going to see if anybody had given us something to talk about yet. But I feel like they're just enjoying watching us wriggle on that hook.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, this is your life.
Yeah.
There's 75 of you watching. I mean, I'm one of them. So there's 74 people out there watching.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to have a question.
I feel like we've given them a lot of great insight.
I think that, we're unveiling the mysteries of all kinds of stuff. We did have a question about IKRPG stuffs.
What about
and Crix.
What about IKRPG
Like
and Crix?
if they could expect any sweet IKRPG Crixy stuff.
I mean, we just recently released the Statixis Gunslinger, which I thought was pretty cool. We're always going to be rolling out material, and the Crix, IOS, and rule sections are kind of the blank spots that I know that I want to help fill in. I know that Doug wants to help fill in. I'm sure Josh does too. So in any way that I can get that out to people, I'm going to work to get it out to people.
So you can expect more through like your insiders. I know you've done a lot of
Definitely
RPG
that.
content through the insiders. Obviously, No Quarter has had a decent amount of RPG content in the past.
Yep.
Introduced us to the Strange Light, which was basically like a new module for
More than that,
Kingdoms.
it was a new way to play the game, right? And actually, we have some more Strange Light stuff coming up in No Quarter Prime number 6 for people who are interested in running those games.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming very soon.
Sounds. What can people expect out of that?
It's sort of the last leg of what you need to run a Strange Light game.
Okay.
Antagonists. We are colloquially referring to it as the Spectronomicon.
I like it. Spectronomicon.
There's a lot of stuff for people to throw against their Strange Light field teams, and I think we had to trim it for space, so I'm going to see if we can get it up online. But we actually statted out the biggest, baddest thing that a Strange Light team could ever face. We put in rules for the Death Jack.
Oh.
But from the lens of the Strange Light rules, so it's a lot nastier than it would even be in
Sure.
Full Metal Fantasy. Like, it gets to activate way more than anything else.
It just keeps going and going. So apparently Tony wants me to mention also that if you watch the keynote this morning, which we live streamed, is available on Twitch and will be available on YouTube now. If you don't want to do the Twitch thing, that you had an active part in one of our biggest videos.
I
the
did?
Theme Force video.
I did?
Yes.
What did I do?
I believe that you were the voice
I-
of our hardy steelhead sergeant.
Oh, I guess that was, in fact, me.
Flames of War.
In Flames?
Fires of War.
Fires of
Fires
War.
of War. That's
Yeah.
what it's called. Yeah.
No, I did do some voice work for that
I mean, you
video.
did all the voice work for
Well,
it.
yeah. No, I didn't do the Infernal teaser. I just did
Well,
the...
no. That's what I'm saying. Like for the Fires of War.
Yeah.
You did the voice.
I did do that. Is there more, Tony? Did you want more out of that?
I don't know. Tony seems sad now.
He does.
What was wrong, Tony? What did you want? Tony, you can use my headset. You can ask questions. Do you want to ask questions, Tony? Come on. Be a part of the show. Come to the front. Come before the curtain. I mean, we're all behind a real curtain. But metaphorically, come to the front of the curtain.
Come join us, Tony.
Yeah.
Be one of us.
Tony also had a big part in our keynote.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Little known fact, he voiced over my parts after I did.
He
as is his prerogative.
He actually gave life to our character Bamfist.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the fact that he made the video.
Well, yeah, but that's boring.
Okay.
Like anybody can make videos.
Hey Tony, could you come into one of these mics and say Riot Quest for me?
Ooh, Tony, you're getting called.
Riot Quest.
No, that's not right. Say it the right way.
Riot Quest.
Riot Quest.
Riot Quest.
I like it.
Perfect.
Spot on.
Perfect.
Spot on. Oz wants you, though. He's been yelling for you. So maybe you should stop dinking around, Tony, and do your job. Oh, Opportunists have scored another point there at 6.
Opportunists
and
are at 6?
Wait, did he say that's it? The game's over? Opportunists have won? The Opportunists have won the game.
Excellent.
They have stolen the alchemical mixture.
Sure.
And have claimed victory in this amazing live-streamed Company of Iron multi-table narrative event.
Yep. All right, so Oz is bringing up something rather interesting. The results of this game are going to affect Dead Reckoning tomorrow.
What is Dead Reckoning for those who don't know?
Dead Reckoning is our major RPG event for Lock and Load 2019. It is a mega adventure that, we're looking at the camera now.
Yeah,
right.
you are.
So let's flip it over. Hey! So Dead Reckoning is a mega adventure that takes place on multiple tables with multiple GMs, but it's all the same adventure. Like all of these different groups are working together toward a common goal. We've done
How many groups do you get in a Dead Reckoning event? It's a lot.
It depends. This year we have 3 groups of 5 players each.
Woo!
But in the past we've had 4 GMs, 5 GMs, all running kind of different elements of the same big.
But all of them
adventure.
affect each other, right?
Exactly. So in this one, I don't want to give too much away in case one of the players is.
I mean,
watching.
they might be. They might be doing some homework.
Yeah, they will know a lot about Jasper if they were watching today.
Jasper is going to be important.
But Oz and I were discussing the different potential results from his game and how they were going to affect Dead Reckoning, because it does involve the Golden Crucible and the Crucible Guard. So now that I know what the result is, I get to modify the adventure that we've already written, kind of give that to Doug and to Josh so they know what to do, and it's going to have an impact. So say if the Cauldron side had won today, it would have had a different effect on Dead Reckoning. But because it's the Opportunists, that actually, for the people who are playing the PCs, that's actually in your favor, sort of.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So maybe it's okay.
And maybe during the live stream, because if that happens after Dead Reckoning, we can talk about the impact that it did have.
Absolutely. No, I look forward to hearing more. I'm sure we're going to do a wrap-up. We also have Primecast Live, which is happening on Sunday at 9 before we do the Iron Gauntlet Finals. And that's going to kind of be our wrap-up show. We're going to bring on a bunch of people on. I believe you're coming on. Talk about Dead Reckoning at that point, and just kind of get a sense for what happened, what the stories were. I know that the first year you ran it, one of the most epic stories was that a gobber jumped on Terminus's back, stopped ripping out parts, and was flown off into the sunset.
So the
never
first,
to be seen again.
The first one, it was a bunch of Crixians being commanded by Terminus in old Orgoth ruins. The second one actually had one of the Defiers. It was
the Heretic?
It was the Wanderer.
Oh, the Wanderer.
I think I mistakenly said Heretic at one point. But yeah, the Wanderer had taken over a town to punish all of its inhabitants. And the PCs had to fight a Defier at the end of that game. So this one, there's not as much divinity going around, like demigods, but I've mentioned somewhere that it's the biggest antagonist we've ever had in a Dead Reckoning game.
I like it. All right, well, look forward to hearing the wrap-up on Sunday during Primecast Live. Otherwise, guys, thanks for joining us today for a full scheduled streaming. Join us again at 7 p.m. Pacific for Iron Painter Live. You can see Dallas take on several of our speed painting contestants who have won the right to challenge him for the title of Iron Painter this year. And then, of course, join us again tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. Pacific for Masters coverage, followed by Iron Gauntlet coverage. It will be a sight to see. We're going to see some of the greatest War Machine games played for the year as people vie for that World Championship title and the Iron Gauntlet itself.
Iron Gauntlet. And apparently punching you in the face.
Apparently. I mean, I'm afraid to go around the curtain now. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you on the next one.
Don't forget, if you find a tower in the swamp, you climb it.